Chapter 1626. Ning Shu explained, the body is like a house. There's only one person in your body, but there are two in mine. Understand? Bao Luo's face flushed red. Can you tell me the secret? When will the other Nicole appear? Bao Luo asked. Ning Shu spread his hands. I don't know about that. Maybe tomorrow, maybe a year. We won't know of each other's existence. But you know, Bao Luo said weakly. Ning Shu tilted his head. That's because I'm smarter. Bao Luo really wanted to say, you're much more evil than a maiden. Bao Luo stared at Ning Shu. Ning Shu resisted the urge to roll his eyes. Well, you're clearly the same person. Why do you feel different? Bao Luo asked curiously. Ning Shu suddenly realized that Bao Luo was developing in the direction of being a chatterbox. But talking more was better than not talking at all. Even if the face is the same, the temperament is different. It's definitely different. Nicole was now only a 13-year-old girl. The feeling of a maiden was very strong. With Ning Shu's age, it was still a little difficult to pretend to be a maiden. If I can't pretend to be a maiden, I'll pretend to be my other personality. What can you do to me? I'm a schizophrenic. Ning Shu bullied Bao Luo for his lack of knowledge. Bao Luo was a little dazed. Looking at Ning Shu's leisurely appearance, he asked, Do you know that Nicole picked me up? I don't know. I saw you when I woke up. Although I don't know where you came from, Nicole acknowledged you. I can't say anything. Without being Nicole, Ning Shu found that he was much more relaxed. Bao Luo pursed his lips tightly. I know I'm very weak. I can't protect Nicole well. Ning Shu was speechless. Fuck, he hit his glass hard again. People like Bao Luo were really pitiful and hateful. He was always blaming himself. Sometimes he was a little one-track-minded. You had to be careful not to say anything that would make him sad. To be honest, it was quite tiring. Can you stop saying such things? It doesn't matter if I'm weak or strong. We're in the same boat now. Ning Shu felt that his mouth was dry from talking. I'm sorry. Bao Luo lowered his head and apologized. Ning Shu couldn't see his face again. Lar, can you look at me when you talk? Ning Shu asked. Look into my eyes. Bao Luo raised his head and looked into Ning Shu's eyes. Ning Shu nodded. I don't want to preach to you. Even if we are weak, we can still straighten our backs. We didn't do anything wrong. Ning Shu leaned on a tree branch and said to Bao Luo, Repeat after me, I, Bao Luo, am the best. Bao Luo's face turned red as he waved his hands. I'm just a weapon from a garbage recycling station. Can you forget about the recycling station? Why did he always get hung up on such unimportant things? What's wrong with the recycling station? Can you just pretend that you've come back to life and come back to life? Bao Luo, I want a girl, Bao Luo said in a voice as soft as a mosquito. I, Bao Luo, am the best. Ning Shu didn't make him shout anymore. True strength was the strength of one's heart and spirit. It wasn't something that could be made strong by shouting a slogan. I'll rest for a while. Ning Shu said. Then he closed his eyes and began to cultivate. What he absorbed was still bits and pieces of the power of the stars. They surged into his dantian, causing it to become deep and dark. There were bits and pieces of starlight arranged there. Well, after the power of the fiery sun, he could absorb another thing. However, her dragon was gone. Bao Luo looked around warily. Seeing that Ning Shu had fallen asleep, he lifted the strands of hair in front of his forehead and looked at Ning Shu. His gaze was so hot that Ning Shu felt uncomfortable. Ning Shu opened his eyes and met Bao Luo's gaze. Bao Luo immediately let go of his bangs and lowered his head. He looked a little uneasy. Ning Shu felt that he should pretend to be Bao Luo's mother-in-law. Become Nicole's mother and teach her son-in-law, Bao Luo. So fierce. Want a girl? Why are you looking at me? Ning Shu asked. Bao Luo had a premonition that he was going to tell the truth. He might get beaten up. Ning Shu asked again, Do you like my other personality? I don't. I really don't. Bao Luo hurriedly waved his hands and explained with a pale face. He lost his balance and fell from the tree. Ning Shu chuckled. You can only repay the kindness of saving your life with your body. There's nothing wrong with you liking her. Bao Lo liked the girl who saved him. She was soft and shy, a girl that he wanted to protect with all his might. Bao Lo climbed up the tree. It's impossible for a human to be with a weapon. TSK, here we go again. Why do you need to label her? Besides, it wasn't like they couldn't have sex. Once feelings were felt, they would naturally communicate. Ning Shu stretched and closed his eyes to cultivate. The next day, Ning Shu followed Bao Lo into the city. He seemed to be going to a shop to sell the beast cores he found. After getting only 1 silver coin, Ning Shu sent Bao Lo to the weapon maintenance center for maintenance. At the very least, he wanted to remove all the scars on his body. A body full of scars and bangs covering his eyes. No matter how one looked at it, he was full of depression. Don't spend this money. You humans need food. All the money is used for maintenance. Do you still have money to buy food? Bao Lo refused. At the door of the maintenance center, Ning Shu kicked Bao Lo in. He paid the bill and waited outside. A silver coin was exchanged for a few copper coins. Ning Shu put away the copper coins. Earning money was too damn difficult. Ning Shu sat on the steps, propping up his chin and looking at the people coming and going in front of him. There were warriors, beautiful weapons, men and women. When Bao Lo came out, the scars on his face were gone. His hair was cut short, revealing his obsidian eyes. Bao Lo shyly moved over to Ning Shu. Ning Shu squinted and asked, "Who are you?" Bao Lo was a little petrified. "I'm Lo." "Don't worry, I'm just kidding. Of course, I know you are Lo." Ning Shu sized Bao Lo up and kept staring at him. Bao Lo's face turned red. "You look more energetic," Ning Shu said. Then, Ning Shu and Bao Lo strolled on the streets. Master?" Bao Lo looked hesitant. Ning Shu said, "What's the matter? Tell me." "I want to buy a book to record the Luna beasts I kill every day," Bao Lo said. Ning Shu nodded. "Okay, so just tell me what you want. If you don't tell me, I won't know what you are thinking." "Oh, I know. What do you want, Master?" Bao Lo asked. Chapter 1627. Since his master wanted to be honest, he had to ask his master what he wanted. Ning Shu smiled and said, "Take a guess." Bao Lo was speechless. Why did it feel like it was a one-sided confession? Ning Shu spent some money and bought a book for Bao Lo. Bao Lo kept the book and smiled. There was no scar on his face, and his eyes were curved. This was the first time Ning Shu saw Bao Lo smile. Ning Shu and Bao Lo did not have the money to buy a house, so they slept on the streets. They found a roof that could shelter them from the rain. Bao Lo felt very guilty and directly said that he had caused Ning Shu to suffer. Ning Shu only said, "This is not your responsibility. There's no need to blindly pin everything on yourself. You are taking responsibility even though it's not your responsibility." "Stupid," Ning Shu said as he rolled his eyes. Bao Lo said, "I want the girl." Bao Lo did not dare to say such words again. Ning Shu and Lars lived a life of hardship and living in the open. When there were 5 blood-red moons in the sky, the Luna beasts started to attack. All the warriors and weapons in the town participated in the defense. Ning Shu was not strong enough, so he could only kill a few Luna beasts. The battle only ended when the sun was about to rise. Ning Shu raised his hand and wanted to high-five Bao Lo. There were many people around. Bao Lo felt awkward. When he saw Ning Shu raise his hand, he reached out and gave Ning Shu a high five. "This is our victory ceremony. Be serious. We survived again." Ning Shu raised his hand. Bao Lo pursed his lips and high-fived Ning Shu. It was loud and clear. Bao Lo took out a pen and a book and wrote down a number. "How many Luna beasts did we kill today?" Ning Shu went over and asked. Bao Lo tilted his head and said, 18. "Not bad. We survived and even killed 18 Luna beasts." Ning Shu clasped his hands behind his back and said with a smile. Ning Shu sold the beast cores he had obtained and bought some coarse bread. He squatted at the foot of the wall with the crossbowman Lar, waiting for tomorrow to find Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu said to 2333 in his mind, "Talk to Mei Ziqing's system and ask him where he is right now." "Oh," 2333 said. After a while, he said, They replied that they are in Kahilda. Ning Shu went to buy a map of Casilda and studied it carefully. Bao Lar watched from the side and asked, "Where are you going?" "Casilda town," Ning Shu answered without raising his head. Ning Shu confirmed the route and bought enough coarse bread. Even if he had the fasting pill, he wouldn't be able to use it. It was normal for weapons to not eat for a few days, but it was strange for Ning Shu not to eat. Crossbow Rawl stuffed the object into his body. The next day, Ning Shu and Bao Lar embarked on their journey to Casilda town. Along the way, they killed many Luna beasts. 5 Luna beasts today. There are quite a lot of Luna beasts today. There are actually 10 of them. Master, we seem to be lost. We seem to be walking on this road. Get lost. I am not a person who will get lost. Let me look at the map. Ning Shu and Bao Lar stood in front of Casilda town. Their bodies were dirty and bitter. Casilda town was huge and prosperous. The people here wore luxurious clothes. The people who came and went did not have a sense of superiority. Bao Lar tugged at his clothes and asked, "What are you doing here?" As a weapon, he could feel that there were many powerful weapons in this town. "Tell Mei Ziqing that I'm already at the city gate," Ning Shuchao said to 2333. After a while, he replied, "Mei Ziqing is coming over to look for you. Stand there and don't move." "What's wrong with you?" Ning Shu asked. "Your friend system is really unfriendly. We don't get along very well," 2333 said. Ning Shu squinted. "How so?" "I just said, 'Hey, my mission enforcer is looking for your mission enforcer.'" Ning Shu did not believe it. "That's it? I just said, 'Hurry up and tell your master.'" Then he started acting weird. Ning Shu was speechless. "Go to hell. Don't you know how to be polite? Ordering your subordinates around?" Ning Shu sat down and waited for Mei Ziqing to come out. Crossbow Carl asked Ning Shu, "Aren't you going in?" "I'm waiting for someone." Ning Shu took out some coarse bread and ate it. Lar passed Ning Shu a glass of water. Ning Shu took a sip. A luxurious carriage drove out of the city and stopped. A handsome red-haired guy came down from the carriage. Ning Shu stared at him. He was very handsome, but the color of his hair was probably something that only weapons could have. Another man came down from the carriage. 5 handsome men came down from the carriage in succession. A fair hand reached out from the carriage and touched the man's hand. A woman came down from the carriage. The woman looked around and hesitated when she saw Ning Shu. Ning Shu walked over. The 5 men surrounded the woman. Ning Shu walked over, surrounded by a group of handsome men. Ning Shu stood up and patted the breadcrumbs off his body. "I'm 2333, Ning Shu said. "You're here." Mei Ziqing smiled and looked at the crossbow beside Ning Shu. "These are my weapons." Ning Shu was speechless. Damn, so many handsome men. Jealous. And Mei Ziqing's client was really beautiful. Jealous. Crossbow Lar was a little uncomfortable. Facing these weapons, the inferiority complex in his bones began to act up again. He leaned against Ning Shu. Ning Shu said, "These are my weapons." Mei Ziqing pulled Ning Shu to the side and asked, "What's your mission this time?" "To make sure the weapons don't die." Ning Shu looked at Crossbow Lar. Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons stood together, and Crossbow Lar stood on the other side. The 2 sides were clearly separated. It was very quiet and did not speak. "Other than this mission?" Mei Ziqing asked. The friction between humans and weapons is the greatest grievance, especially the blackened weapons. "My client is dead. Naturally, I have to find the person who killed her," Ning Shu said. Now he realized that this mission was a little difficult. Crossbow Lar was sensitive and had an inferiority complex. He was the biggest problem. Crossbow Lar had to bear most of the responsibility for Nicole and Bao Lar's ending. "What's your mission?" Ning Shu asked. Mei Ziqing was speechless. "My client was killed by 5 weapons." All 5 weapons are blackened?" Ning Shu was surprised. This kind of collective blackening is rare. Ning Shu was gloating. Beauty was disaster. He was not at all jealous of being surrounded by so many handsome men. Chapter 1628. What kind of infuriating thing had they done to cause all 5 weapons to turn black and kill their users? Ning Shu asked. Did you enslave them and not pay them? Did they turn evil and kill your client? Mei Ziqing rolled his eyes. The client's family doesn't lack money. Then what's the reason? Are you guys 6p? Ning Shu rubbed his chin and guessed. Mei Ziqing rolled his eyes. Then did you have sex with the weapons? Ning Shu shrugged. How is that possible? Exactly. You didn't even have sex with them. I want to have sex with all 5 of them. How can you think of something like that? Mei Ziqing realized that the topic was heading in a strange direction and quickly changed the topic. Why do you only have 1 weapon? The client only wants 1 weapon. What can I do? Ning Shu said. What's your mission? Find out why the spear class killed the client. The client loves the spear class, Mei Ziqing said. Ning Shu squinted. Why did they keep talking about love? Your client must have done something to cause all of them to turn evil. Ning Shu rubbed his chin and pondered. Could it be that they all like you and no one can have you all to themselves? So they decided to share you and eat your flesh? Mei Ziqing, you are so perverted. Even if they all like you, you can still have sex. Ning Shu squinted. The weapons will eat their owner's flesh when they turn evil. No matter what, they will eat your flesh. Could it be that they love each other and you, the user, stop them? Ning Shu speculated. Mei Ziqing, who is the spear class? Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing pointed at a red-haired man. Although this man had flamboyant red hair, his expression was cold. He didn't look like someone easy to get along with. Mei Ziqing's client liked this type of weapon. Then what do you think caused the 5 weapons to turn evil? Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing was also puzzled. I counted with my fingers. The client was fine with her weapon, but there was no lack of money. There's no such thing as a weapon that can torture itself. Why would it torture and kill its client? Mei Ziqing face-bombed. God knows. She didn't even know who killed her client and crossbow roll. Ning Shu sighed, feeling that this was really difficult. On the other side, Bao Lars felt goosebumps all over his body as he kept moving away from the 5 weapons. He saw Ning Shu and the woman he had just met huddled together and talking non-stop. I don't have a place to stay. Let's go to your house, Ning Shu said. Okay. Mei Ziqing nodded and returned to the center of the 5 handsome men, surrounded by them. Yep, Ning Shu was jealous again. There were so many handsome men. Mei Ziqing got on the carriage. The carriage isn't big enough. You can walk to my house. Ning Shu was speechless. She must be holding a grudge against him for mentioning her 6p. The 5 handsome men got on the carriage and it drove away. Bao Lars let out a sigh of relief and asked, Do you still know such rich friends? Ning Shu strode toward the city. Bao Lars lowered his head and followed beside Ning Shu. Your friend's weapons are all so powerful. They were so powerful that he could be suppressed just by standing beside them, let alone in a fight. He couldn't even withstand a single blow. Ning Shu didn't care and said, Others are others. I'm not as rich as my friends. I didn't say anything. There are too many powerful people in the world. Look at the numbers recorded in the book. We're not simple people and weapons. Lars, don't compare yourself to others. We have our own paths. It was easy to lose one's mind when comparing. There were too many powerful people. Even if they were mission enforcers, the disparity in strength was too great. One step couldn't reach the sky. If one kept comparing, one couldn't even take a step forward. If you have something to say, just say it. Do you think that powerful weapons will abandon you when you come to such a big city? Ning Shu looked at Bao Lars. Bao Lars pursed his lips and said, I can't be so selfish. You should have other weapons. Ning Shu sighed. You don't have any weapons, but you're interested in a beautiful but poor girl like me. Bao Lars was speechless. Ning Shu found a place and sat down. Are you going to sit on the street like this? Aren't we going to a friend's house? Bao Lars saw Ning Shu sitting on the ground. The ground is cold. It's easy to get sick. Ning Shu said, You don't seem to want those weapons. Then let's not go to her house. Bao Lars lowered his head, looking defeated. Is it because of me that you have to sleep on the streets again? Ning Shu stared at him. Do you always like to take responsibility for yourself like this? What's the point of torturing yourself when you can't take responsibility for yourself? In the past, we also slept on the streets and slept in the open. We didn't live the life we used to. You're always like this. I even have to consider if I should entrust Nicole to you, Ning Shu said with a sullen face. I'm sorry. It's my fault. Bao Lars lowered his head and apologized. Don't apologize. What did you do wrong? Ning Shu asked. I made you unhappy. Bao Lars realized that without his bangs blocking his eyes, he didn't even have a chance to dodge. Lars' back was bent. Ning Shu could only see the top of his head. Please look me in the eye when you speak, Ning Shu said. Bao Lars raised his head. His pure obsidian eyes met Ning Shu's. The moment their eyes met, Lars immediately looked away in a panic. I'm sorry, what are you apologizing for? What did you do wrong? Ning Shu asked. Lars couldn't apologize, nor did he know what to say. Ning Shu was speechless. Sigh. Ning Shu was cursing in his heart. Young man, don't apologize for things that have nothing to do with you. Do you know that sometimes apologizing can be very annoying? You're not really apologizing. You're just avoiding things. Did you do wrong? What did you do wrong? Ning Shu tilted his head and asked. Lars stuttered. Damn, what did he do wrong? Yes. Ning Shu stared coldly at Bao Lars. Lars' eyelids twitched wildly. Help, what did you want to say? Bao Lars bit his handkerchief and cried in his heart. Oh my God, so scary, so scared. Sure enough, he wasn't a shy girl anymore. I want a girl. I want a girl. Ning Shu saw that Bao Lars was trembling all over. His expression was constipated. Ning Shu tilted his head and grunted. Squeak. Squeak. Ning Shu was speechless. All right, if you have something to say, just say it. Ning Shu was moved. Bao Lars, I'm sure you're not the Nicole who saved me before. Oh, didn't I tell you earlier? Ning Shu propped up his chin and looked at the people coming and going. A person's experience was hidden in their temperament. Ning Shu couldn't pretend to be a girl even if he tried. Chapter 1629. It could be said that Lar had fallen in love with Nicole at first sight for the rest of his life. Even though she was wearing Nicole's skin, her temperament was different. Although Ning Shu didn't think he had the temperament, after experiencing so much, it was inevitable that something would settle down. What kind of settling down would a young girl have? Ning Shu wasn't surprised that Lar could recognize her. If it was because of her face and ignored everything else, Ning Shu didn't know if she loved Ning Shu or not. Ning Shu propped up his chin and looked at the passers-by. A copper coin was thrown in front of Ning Shu. Ning Shu's eyes lit up. She immediately stepped on it and looked around. Seeing that no one was staring at her, she picked it up and put it in her pocket. Ning Shu realized that sitting on the side of the road had an advantage. Maybe someone would think she was a beggar and throw money at her. A middle-aged man walked over. Ning Shu asked, Are you a friend of Miss? I'm the housekeeper. Miss sent me to pick you up. Ning Shu nodded. I am. Ning Shu stood up, patted the dust off his butt, and followed behind the housekeeper. Lar followed Ning Shu and saw a 5-year-old child crying on the side of the road. She cried loudly, crying very sadly and in despair. The child was wearing tattered clothes and had flaxen hair. Occasionally, he would raise his head, revealing his watery eyes to look at the passers-by. When he saw that no one was paying attention to him, he buried his head and cried again. Master, that child is crying, Lar said. Ning Shu, oh. Master, that child is a weapon. It should be an abandoned weapon. It's so small, Lar continued. Ning Shu, oh. Master, you need other weapons. My weapon alone isn't enough. Lar stared at the small weapon. Ning Shu, oh. No matter what Lar said, Ning Shu only responded with an oh. He didn't even show any emotion. He was very cold. Ballista Lar, I want the maiden. Master, let's take it in. It's an abandoned weapon anyway, so it won't cost Master's money, Lar said directly. If he continued, it would always be an O. Ning Shu, no. Crossbow pole, dejected pawn, Master only wants me as a weapon. Lar is very touched, but Master doesn't only have one weapon. To be honest, I'm a defective product. In the words of you humans, I'm a deformed child. If Master has other weapons, I don't have to worry about Master's safety all the time. However, if Master is injured because of me, the pressure on me will be even greater and I will be ashamed. Although I'm worried that Master will abandon a useless weapon like me once you have other weapons, I still hope that Master will have other weapons. I'm sincere. Ballista Lar's heart was conflicted, and he despaired of his own abilities. Ning Shu, oh. Bowman Lar, the butler leading the way, stopped and waited for Ning Shu and Lar to make a decision. He didn't say a word. The sobbing little boy saw that someone was staring at him. He sobbed and hiccuped, looking very pitiful. Ning Shu's expression didn't change. He turned and left. Ballista Lar said angrily, "Nicole, you're making me very angry." Ning Shu looked at Lar. "Yeah, if you're angry, just say it." "Brother." The little boy ran over and hugged Lar's leg. "Brother, I'm so hungry. Can you take me hunting?" "Nicole." Lar looked at Ning Shu awkwardly. Ning Shu reached out, grabbed the little boy's collar, and threw him away. Ballista Lar, his master couldn't be so cruel. His master couldn't be so unsympathetic. Corrupted weapon. "Stay away from my weapon," Ning Shu said coldly. The little boy rolled on the ground and stood up with an innocent smile. He tilted his head and looked at Ning Shu. "I'm not a corrupted weapon. You can even accept that defective weapon. Why can't you accept a small and new weapon like me?" The little boy was confused. Ballista Lar opened his mouth but couldn't say a word. He looked at the little boy with a strange expression. The little boy walked in front of Ning Shu and asked innocently, "Sister, how do you know that I'm a corrupted weapon?" Ning Shu, pretend to be obedient. Ning Shu smiled and patted his head. "Just, Lar, Master is so evil." The little boy waved Ning Shu's hand away. "Don't touch me, disgusting human." "Master." Ballista Lar stood in front of Ning Shu. The little boy sneered. "You think a defective weapon can stop me?" Ning Shu didn't want to argue with the little boy. He pulled Lar away. The little boy squatted on the ground and cried. There was a blurry mark on the back of his hand. Ballista Lar lowered his head and said dejectedly, "Nicole, it's all my fault." "It's okay. There are many tricks in the city. You're just a country boy. Of course, you can't guard against them," Ning Shu said casually. "At that time, I saw that the weapon was very powerful. I felt the pressure and wanted to get you another weapon." Ning Shu nodded. "I understand your efforts, but we're not strong enough now. Don't show our sympathy. Corrupted weapons have twisted hearts and are full of uncertainty. Normal weapons will be affected if they stay with them. Emotions were contagious." "I understand," Ballista Lar immediately said. There was a hint of determination in Lar's expression. Even if the child was a normal weapon, Ning Shu didn't want it. Children were troublesome. Besides, Lar already made her feel tired. She could forget about the others for now. The butler brought Ning Shu and Lar to the door of a luxurious mansion. Ning Shu looked at the mansion. Damn, jealous. Why were her clients always poor? The butler brought Ning Shu and Lar to the room. There were countless maids along the way, and all kinds of luxurious decorations. Ning Shu followed behind the butler without a change in expression. Lar didn't care about the surroundings and followed Ning Shu without blinking. Even if he felt that there were many powerful weapons in the mansion, he tried his best not to show any fear. "This is your room," the butler said. Just one room?" Lar stuttered. "Although it's just one room, it's very big inside. There are also compartments." This was arranged by Mississippi. The butler left after saying that. Ning Shu nodded and thanked him. Dinner was delivered by the maids. Since coming to this world, Ning Shu had never tasted such delicious and sumptuous food. Slowly tasting it, his mouth was full of fragrance. It was too delicious. Lar stood to the side and watched Ning Shu eat. With a smile on his face, he asked, "Is it delicious?" Humans seemed to value eating. Eating was a desire. Chapter 1630. Of course, it's delicious, but you won't be able to taste it, Ning Shu said directly. Lar was speechless. Was it really okay to be so direct? When Ning Shu was full, a maid came to take away the bowls and chopsticks. "We've been running around for a long time. You should rest early." Ning Shu sat cross-legged and started to cultivate. Lar made a mattress on the floor. Ning Shu was cultivating when he felt someone coming in through the window. Mei Ziqing was hanging on the window, and his eyes met with Ning Shu's. "Why did you come in through the window? You look like a thief." Ning Shu rolled his eyes. Mei Ziqing came in and sat beside Ning Shu. He said, "I came in stealthily." "I can see that," Ning Shu said. "My 5 weapons followed me everywhere. I couldn't even find a chance to talk to you." Ning Shu frowned. "If that's the case, why don't we just get rid of the weapons? Besides, they will definitely do that. What's the point of keeping them? Keep them for winter. If we get rid of them, we won't know many secrets." "I want to ask you for a favor," Mei Ziqing said softly. "What do you want me to do? How can I cooperate with you?" Ning Shu asked. Mei Ziqing whispered into Ning Shu's ear, "You just need to do this. Challenge me when the time is right." "But what's the point?" Ning Shu was confused. Mei Ziqing said, "Actually, the 5 weapons that my client keeps have never been used. They're just kept like this." "Aren't they useless?" "They're not even as good as my Lar," Ning Shu said directly. Lar, who was sleeping in the cubicle outside, heard this. He curled his lips and blushed. He turned around and looked at the cubicle door. Mei Ziqing was speechless. "Can you keep your voice down? Then how do your weapons eat?" Ning Shu asked. "The weapons could only eat after killing the Luna Beast. Someone brought the half-dead Luna Beast to me. All I had to do was to use my weapon to finish it off." Mei Ziqing shrugged. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. This was no longer an ordinary piece of trash. Rich people really knew how to have fun. Ning Shu rolled his eyes. "I think this might be the reason why your weapon has turned dark. It was originally a powerful weapon, but now it's more like a taboo pet that you commissioned. If you want to eat the half-dead Luna Beasts, you will be mocked by the other weapons. The purpose of weapons is to kill." Ning Shu rubbed his chin and analyzed. "Raising weapons like this will kill the nature of weapons. What about the dignity of the weapon? That's why the weapons want to regain their freedom. Perhaps your client didn't agree to terminate the contract, so they all turned evil." Mei Ziqing shook his head. "That's what I thought too. But I asked them and they said that life is good. Men's words can't be trusted. What's the use of challenging them? It's better to just tell them to cancel the contract." With a slap, the two parted ways. Mei Ziqing sighed. "But the client loves the Spear Squad. Love my ass. You don't even have your life anymore. If the Spear Squad had even the slightest bit of affection for their master, they wouldn't have turned evil and gnawed on his flesh and blood. The lifespan of weapons was not long. In essence, everything would decay and disappear with the passage of time. Especially when weapons were used to kill Luna Beasts, the process of decay was accelerated. Weapons only had a lifespan of 50 years at most. Weapons that did not know how to cherish could even have a lifespan of more than 20 years. It was indeed difficult for humans and weapons to stay together. Mei Ziqing rubbed his chin. "Why don't we keep the Spear Squad and let the rest go? I reckon that the spear-wielding class will be corrupted even faster." Ning Shu shrugged. Mei Ziqing was speechless. Besides this mission, what's wrong with this world? Ning Shu did not believe that Mei Ziqing had called him over just for love. Otherwise, there was something wrong with this world. Mei Ziqing nodded. "The higher-ups have detected that something is wrong with this plane, but they don't know what the problem is. Therefore, besides fulfilling the client's wish, our mission is to find out what's wrong with this plane." Ning Shu rubbed his chin and asked, "Is it because there are too many corrupted weapons?" "Weapons have emotions too. Maybe it's because of the corrupted weapons. Speaking of grievances, there are too many people and they have a greater impact on the plane. I don't think that's the reason." Mei Ziqing shook his head. Everyone was suffering. Many people were struggling to survive. Pain, resentment, hatred. There were too many of these emotions. Ning Shu shrugged. He could not think of a reason. Let's solve my problem first. My 5 weapons. Mei Ziqing lowered his head. If you don't want to kill them, just cancel the contract. But the client has been dismembered. Are we going to let them go just like that? Mei Ziqing shook his head. Ning Shu gave him a sideways glance. Then beat them up. If they're half dead, throw them out. Mei Ziqing shook his head. There's a better way. You can go now. You've been out for a while. Your weapons must be looking for you everywhere, Ning Shu said. Remember to challenge me tomorrow. Mei Ziqing climbed out the window. Challenge again? Ning Shu asked 2333, is there a world origin here? 2333 replied lazily, how can there be? Even if there is, this mission taker got there first. Ning Shu was disappointed. Every time they went to a place, he would ask 2333 to scan for world origin. It had been a long time since she got a world origin. A long time. So long that it made her despair. The next morning, Ning Shu was still putting on his clothes when Mei Ziqing came over with his 5 beautiful weapons. He wanted to challenge Ning Shu. Lar opened the door and saw Ning Shu changing. He hurriedly closed the door and said to Mei Ziqing, Nicole is putting on her clothes. Wait a moment. Mei Ziqing sat down and looked at Lar calmly. There was no disdain or praise. He had been through a lot. He would not mock a weakling to get a thrill. Lar felt a bit pressured. The weapons in the room were all stronger than him. This feeling was really bad. Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons were not happy. The red-haired spearman said, I still don't know what this challenge is about. Mei Ziqing smiled. Don't worry. It's just a friendly match. The spearman's face was tense. Another weapon said, so many people are waiting for her. This country girl is really something. Although Lars respected these powerful weapons, he would not allow them to insult his master. Chapter 1631. My master didn't ask you to come so early, Lars said, stiffening his neck. Ning Shu came out from the inner room and smiled at Lars. She looked at Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons and felt a sense of superiority when she saw that they were all top-notch. Ning Shu said to Mei Ziqing, I didn't eat breakfast. I'm hungry. Let's compete after breakfast. Mei Ziqing nodded and asked the maid to serve breakfast. Mei Ziqing and Ning Shu sat together and ate. One of Mei Ziqing's weapons asked, Miss, where did this country bumpkin come from? I've never heard you talk about her before. Mei Ziqing put down her spoon and wiped her mouth with a handkerchief. She said calmly, This girl is my nanny's daughter. Is there a problem? Ning Shu was speechless. She didn't even know who the client's mother was. Regardless of whether it was true or not, she had blocked the weapons' mouths. No wonder she's so unruly. So she's a country bumpkin. Ning Shu looked at the weapon. What does it have to do with you? The competition hadn't even started, but the smell of gunpowder was very strong. Mei Ziqing didn't seem to hear Ning Shu and continued eating with her spoon. The weapons' faces turned ugly after being rebuked by Ning Shu. They looked at Lar with disdain. Lar was originally a defective product and felt inferior when facing these weapons. Now he was being looked at with disdain by his own kind. His heart felt like it was being fried. Ning Shu looked at Lar, who had his head lowered, and sighed in his heart. It was natural to feel inferior, just like a lame person. When facing normal people, they would feel inferior. When facing strong people, people would more or less feel inferior. Everyone had feelings of inferiority. He had to defeat these 5 weapons to build up Lar's confidence. After breakfast, Ning Shu and Mei Ziqing went to the training field. It was 6 against 2. The other side had more people and more momentum. Compared to Ning Shu's side, they seemed weaker. One was a girl, and the other's weapon seemed to be a defective product. Milo, Mei Ziqing called out. Mei Ziqing shouted. Milo's weapon transformed into a sword. The blade of the sword shone brightly with a beautiful tassel. In short, it was a beautiful and powerful weapon. Mei Ziqing held the sword hilt and swung it in the air, looking extremely dashing. There were also many maidservants surrounding the training ground, cheering for Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing winked at Ning Shu again and again. Ning Shu felt that her eyes were cramping. Mei Ziqing raised his sword and rushed towards Ning Shu. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed the crossbow. He dodged Mei Ziqing and fired an arrow at him. A shield appeared in Mei Ziqing's hand and blocked Lar's arrow. Ning Shu, what a fucking foul. Ning Shu rushed over and stomped heavily on the shield. Mei Ziqing took a few steps back from Ning Shu's kick. His hand that was holding the shield was numb. He was really strong. Shield, who had been kicked directly by Ning Shu, felt uncomfortable all over. It was very uncomfortable. Ning Shu kicked again and the shield left Mei Ziqing's hand. The shield fell to the ground with a clang. Ning Shu fired an arrow at Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing blocked with his sword. With a ding, a mark appeared on the sword. The sword vibrated back and forth. Mei Ziqing naturally couldn't use the sword anymore. He shouted, "Ben?" A spear appeared in Mei Ziqing's hand. The sharp tip of the spear was dazzling with red tassels. Each one was prettier than the other. Mei Ziqing performed a beautiful dance with the spear and attacked Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't have any close combat weapons. He could only dodge the spear that was aimed at his head. Ning Shu reached out and grabbed the spear. Both sides held onto the spear and refused to back down. However, Ban was held back violently by the two women. Mei Ziqing was a little angry and threw the spear away. The weapons turned into humans. They were all injured and in a sorry state. Lar, on the other hand, was fine as usual. Mei Ziqing did it on purpose. With her strength and a few powerful weapons, she wouldn't have been defeated. Mei Ziqing stomped her feet and said to a man standing in front of the railing, "Dad, look at me. I have so many weapons, but I can't beat a country girl." Ning Shu, country girl. The man called Dad by Mei Ziqing was chubby and looked like a gold ingot. He smiled and said, "Is it because you don't have enough weapons? Dad will buy you more powerful weapons." Mei Ziqing, Ning Shu, no matter how powerful a weapon was, it was useless in his hands. "No, Dad. I want to go out and train. That country girl defeated me with just a weapon. I want to go out and train." Mei Ziqing was almost acting coquettishly as she said to the gold ingot. Gold Ingot was smiling at first, but when he heard what his daughter said, his face turned serious. "That won't do. You are my only daughter. What if something happens to you? I am still hoping that you can find a son-in-law and give birth to a good grandchild. If something happens to you, who will take over my family business?" Ning Shu looked on coldly from the side. It was none of his business anyway. Mei Ziqing said, "I have so many weapons. Ordinary people are no match for me. You can't even beat this country girl. Who can you beat?" Gold Ingot shook his head and disagreed. Mei Ziqing's dad was so fat that his neck couldn't be seen. He looked like a snowman. "Ning Shu, country girl. What's wrong with you?" Mei Ziqing gave Ning Shu a look. Ning Shu coughed and said, "I am not an ordinary country girl. I have killed many Luna beasts. How many are there?" Ning Shu turned to Lar and asked, "How many?" 58 Luna beasts, Lar replied immediately. Ning Shu lifted her chin slightly and said proudly, 58 Luna beasts. A total of 58 Luna beasts. Jin Yuan Bao's face was full of question marks. So I am not an ordinary country girl. You can leave your daughter to me. You can also send someone to follow her. If your daughter doesn't go out, she will not be willing to give birth and carry on the family line." Gold Ingot looked indifferent. "For you, is it your turn to speak? I am the daughter of your daughter's nanny." "The nanny died a long time ago," Gold Ingot said. Ning Shu said, "So now I am an orphan." Mei Ziqing nodded. "I want to go out. Maybe I will meet the man I like and bring him back to give birth to my child." Gold Ingot was hesitant. "Must you go?" Gold Ingot arranged for some people and found a powerful weapon for Mei Ziqing to form a contract with. Mei Ziqing, just the 5 weapons were already too much for her. Now she had to form a contract with them. Weapons that were not trustworthy and loyal to each other would only be troublesome. Also, It was a big problem for new weapons to be compatible with old ones. Ning Shu's face was cold. Why was there such a big difference between people? Chapter 1632. Lars' eyes widened as he watched from the side. It would be great if Nicole had such a powerful weapon. Mei Ziqing's father had prepared a luxurious carriage for Mei Ziqing. He had prepared all kinds of necessities, including food, clothing, accommodation, and transportation. It did not look like they were going there for training, but for a vacation. Mei Ziqing held her forehead and said to her father, "There is really no need to prepare so much. We will be robbed." Wasn't this telling others that she was a fat sheep? Jin Yuanbao settled for the next best thing. He did not prepare a luxurious carriage for his daughter. Instead, he prepared a simple carriage. Before they set off, Jin Yuanbao held Mei Ziqing's hand and said, "This time, we must find a man. Do you understand?" Mei Ziqing nodded seriously and said, "I will definitely find a man. Don't worry." Regardless of the era or the plane, people would always urge people to get married. Ning Shu, Mei Ziqing, and 6 other weapons were squeezed in the carriage. The carriage was quite big, but with so many people, it became cramped. They were squeezed together with the powerful weapons and looked at Lar with unfriendly eyes. It was embarrassing that a few weapons had been defeated by a defective one. Lar looked uneasy. He turned around and saw Ning Shu staring at him. Lar recalled that he had defeated a few weapons. Although most of them were from the hands of their masters, he had still managed to escape from the powerful weapons. Lar straightened his back and tried his best to ignore the needle-like feeling. Ning Shu asked, "Where are we going now?" Mei Ziqing took out a map and pointed to a place. "We are going to this place." Ning Shu looked at the place. It was a very small place. It was very far and desolate. Ning Shu asked, "Why? What did you find?" Mei Ziqing said, "Many people died in this place." Ning Shu nodded and did not ask any more questions in front of so many people. Traveling was a very tiring thing. At night they had to stop and rest. The people who were secretly protecting Mei Ziqing were also having a tough time. Ning Shu brought Lar to hunt Luna beasts for him to eat. After killing a few Luna beasts, Lar did not need to eat anymore. Ning Shu stopped. Lar took out his notebook and recorded the number of Luna beasts that he had killed. Then, the 2 of them returned to their camp. Mei Ziqing stayed by the fire and put some things into the pot. Ning Shu sat beside Mei Ziqing and asked, "Is there a problem if too many people die?" Apart from natural disasters, there are only natural disasters that can cause such a large number of deaths, Mei Ziqing said as he poked at the fire. "Although I don't know what's going on, I have to go and take a look. If there's a problem, I'll try my best to save it. If not, there's nothing I can do." Ning Shu asked, "How do you know that someone died here? Don't you know what the client's family does? They have businesses all over the world." Ning Shu nodded. Since he was here, he had to find the problem. Also, the person who killed Lar and Nicole hadn't appeared yet. Ning Shu was not in a hurry. If the heavens wanted people to die, it could happen sooner or later. Even if they managed to avoid it once, they would not be able to avoid it again. Eventually, they would die. Ning Shu looked around and asked, "Where are your 5 beautiful weapons?" Lar was always by her side. No matter when she turned around, she could see him. Mei Ziqing's weapons did not seem to be aware of this. "They are in the tent," Mei Ziqing said calmly. Ning Shu asked, "What do you plan to do with them?" "I'll take it one step at a time." Ning Shu was not worried. After all, it was not her problem. After all, it was his mission. It would not be good if he interfered too much. Ning Shu released his mental strength to prevent any Luna beasts from charging over without him noticing. Ning Shu sensed that there were many people hiding in the surroundings. Apparently, they were sent by Mei Ziqing's father to protect her. Ning Shu released more mental strength to cover a wider area. In the end, he saw a little boy. This little boy was holding a dagger and stabbing a Luna beast. This Luna beast was already dead. When the little boy stabbed it with the dagger, blood spurted out and splattered on the boy's face. The boy's eyes were hidden in the darkness. He smiled and revealed a sharp tooth. He stabbed the Luna beast again and again. The places that were stabbed became minced meat. Ning Shu raised his eyebrows. Why was this little boy here? Did he follow her here? This little boy's body was only the size of a 5-year-old child. Although he did not know what he had gone through, he had turned evil. He had chosen to fall. This child was a weapon with all the negative energy in his body. Hatred, cruelty, bigotry, and torture. Ning Shu was more inclined to believe that this child was here for her. The child seemed to be tired. He stood up. Blood was dripping from the dagger. Unexpectedly, he smiled in Ning Shu's direction. He was giggling like a naive child. Ning Shu retracted his mental strength. It did not matter if this child had followed them here. As long as he appeared in front of her, she would definitely be spanked. Mei Ziqing scooped a bowl of soup from the pot for Ning Shu. Ning Shu drank the soup. It was delicious. After eating, Ning Shu wanted to go up the tree to rest. Lar reached out his hand and lifted Ning Shu up high. Lar thought, so light. Ning Shu lowered his head and Lar raised his head. Their eyes met. Lar blushed and used all his strength to lift Ning Shu up the tree branch. Ning Shu sat on the tree branch. He felt a little pain in his butt. Lar climbed up the tree and sat opposite Ning Shu. He said, Nicole, you have to eat more. You're so light. Ning Shu said, it's strange that I'm so heavy. Your arms are so skinny. Eat more next time. Lar looked at the tent under the tree. Isn't your friend rich? You should eat more next time. Ning Shu was speechless. There was something wrong with Lar's attitude. Such an honest child was asking her to eat shamelessly. I'll kill more Luna beasts in the future. I'll sell the cores and buy more delicious food for you. Lar said, now I can only eat from your friend. Hey, I can hear you. Mei Ziqing, who was beside the fire, looked up at the tree and said, Ning Shu could not help but laugh. Even if you want to kill Luna beasts, I'll be the one bringing you there. What you eat is not important. What's important is that you stay alive. Oh, I know. I've heard people say that humans value wealth, power, and strength. What do you want, Nicole? Ning Shu asked Lar. Ning Shu swung his legs and touched his chin. I have to think about it. I don't have anything for now. We can't eat 3 meals a day and have nowhere to stay. We can't talk about wealth. We'll talk about the future in the future. Ning Shu lay down and released his spiritual energy. He wanted to see where the kid was. Within the range of Ning Shu's spiritual energy, he found that the kid was killing Luna beasts again. The Luna beasts were already dead, but he was still stabbing them calmly. Chapter 1633. If this blackened weapon appeared around them, they would have to walk for a while before they could know if it was following them. They might get into trouble. Blackening was a disease that was contagious. Ning Shu retracted some of his spiritual power and shrouded the surroundings, constantly observing. Then he began to multitask and began to absorb the power of the stars. The power of the stars in his dantian was increasing, and the number of stars in his dantian was also increasing. Ning Shu didn't know how to use this power, nor did he know how to develop his ultimate martial arts. In short, it felt more and more strange. Ning Shu felt like he had picked up a treasure. Although it wasn't very eye-catching, it had always been by her side. She had always relied on it. I love ultimate martial arts. Lar took off his jacket and covered Ning Shu with it. Then he looked around vigilantly, wary of any danger. Mei Ziqing sat by the fire for a while, deep in thought. She used a dry branch to poke at the fire. The light from the fire shone on her face, sometimes bright and sometimes dark. She sat motionless. Finally, she threw the branch in her hand into the fire and entered the tent. Ning Shu opened his eyes, sat up, and stared at Mei Ziqing's tent. Nicole, what's wrong? Lar saw that Ning Shu was awake and asked, do you need to pee? Ning Shu, no, I was sleepwalking. Ning Shu lay down. Why don't you sleep in the tent? Lar said. There's too much dew outside. There's no tent for us, Ning Shu said carelessly. The tent was made by Mei Ziqing's weapons. There was no such thing as hers. Ever since they set off, Mei Ziqing had been a little distracted. She was often in a daze. Go and squeeze with your friend. Lar didn't say anything. He reached out and lifted Ning Shu up high. Then he jumped down and carried Ning Shu to Mei Ziqing's tent. Ning Shu, why did Lar like this method? It was like lifting a child up high. Can I sleep in? Ning Shu asked. He pulled open the curtain and squeezed in with Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing, what's wrong? Mei Ziqing's voice in the darkness was muffled. I'm fine. Ning Shu frowned. Mei Ziqing was crying. Ning Shu had never seen Mei Ziqing like this since she had known him. Ning Shu didn't know whether to ask or not. Forget it if she didn't want to. Since she was crying, it must be something painful. If he were to say it out loud, it would be like tearing open a scar. Ning Shu's back to Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu was very clear about Mei Ziqing's expression and whether or not he was crying under the scan of her mental strength. Ning Shu retracted his spiritual power and closed his eyes to sleep. When he woke up, there was no one beside him. He walked out of the tent and saw Mei Ziqing preparing breakfast. Ning Shu walked over and sat beside Mei Ziqing. He saw that Mei Ziqing's eyes were a little red. It seemed that last night wasn't an illusion. Mei Ziqing was really crying. Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons were hovering around. No one noticed what happened to Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu frowned. It seemed that these weapons didn't care about Mei Ziqing. Or rather, they didn't care about Mei Ziqing's employer. They used to be close friends and comrades. Now, they didn't even know that the core had changed. Lars soaked a handkerchief from the nearest river and brought it over to Ning Shu to wash his face. Ning Shu rubbed his face with the handkerchief and felt much better. He was very proud. The 5 weapons couldn't compare to Lar. Ning Shu passed the handkerchief to Lar and gave him a thumbs up. Lar didn't know what it meant, but he still smiled at Ning Shu. Mei Ziqing looked at Ning Shu and Lar from the corner of his eyes. When Lar went to wash the handkerchief, Ning Shu asked, "Don't tell me you've taken a liking to that kid." Ning Shu, this kid is the employer's lover. He also likes my employer. You're just looking at him with dirty eyes. Mei Ziqing used a branch to stir the fire. The pot was steaming. Mei Ziqing put in some jerky and dried mushrooms. Soon the aroma wafted out. Ning Shu stared at the pot. Mei Ziqing scooped a bowl for Ning Shu. Ning Shu looked at Mei Ziqing. He felt that Mei Ziqing carried an inexplicable sadness. This emotion had already affected Ning Shu. Ning Shu guessed that something might happen on this trip. Ning Shu drank the meat soup. It was very fresh and delicious. His stomach warmed up. He was sweating all over. It was very refreshing. Ning Shu saw that Mei Ziqing didn't eat much. "Drink some. I see that you have a lot on your mind. No matter what, you have to eat." Mei Ziqing forced himself to eat a little. Seeing that Ning Shu was enjoying it, he gave all the meat in the pot to Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't refuse any of the food. She ate as much as she could and said, "Is there any danger on our trip this time? You look like this. It's hard for me to ignore and pretend that I don't know anything." Mei Ziqing sighed. He looked at Ning Shu with guilt. "Ning Shu, don't look at me like that." Ning Shu felt goosebumps all over his body. "If there's anything, just say it," Ning Shu said. Mei Ziqing shook his head. "You'll know when the time comes. As for me, I have something to tell you. I want you to witness something. Something that hurts me. Now, I have to put an end to it." It was getting more and more mysterious. Did Mei Ziqing know something? Ning Shu finished the meat soup and burped. "Although I don't know what you're talking about, I still hope that you can let go of some things. Otherwise, you'll be the one suffering." So conflicted, so painful, and so heartbroken. It was most likely related to love. Love was the thing that people yearned for the most in the world. It was sweet and bitter at the same time. There was poison in the sweetness. Who knew when love would end up foaming at the mouth? Could it be that Mei Ziqing had a lover? This lover seemed to have done something that hurt Mei Ziqing and put him in a difficult position? Could it be that what followed next was a melodramatic story of love and hate? Ning Shu's mind had already filled in the story. He couldn't help but let his imagination run wild. When she was still an intermediate mission enforcer, Mei Ziqing was already trying to become a super mission enforcer. This meant that Mei Ziqing had been a mission enforcer longer than her, but he had a lover. It seemed that love was something that all humans yearned for. Ning Shu propped up his chin and looked at Mei Ziqing. He felt a little helpless. Couldn't Mei Ziqing tell her what had happened so that she could be mentally prepared? What did he want her to witness? Ning Shu's heart was scratching. Why did all the mission enforcers he had met recently seem so sad? When Xing had a girlfriend that he loved very much. In the end, they broke up. Even the carefree Mei Ziqing seemed to have endless sorrow in his heart. Chapter 1634. How could he be considered a qualified mission enforcer if he did not have a sorrowful past? Looking at Wen Xing and Mei Ziqing, Ning Shu felt that something was wrong with her. Ning Shu looked at her hands and wondered if she could not love anymore. Ning Shu only questioned herself for a moment before she felt relieved. Everyone had their own way of life. Ning Shu did not care much about these things. Humans were divided into loners and losers. Ning Shu felt that she should be the loner. Humans were contradictory. They were afraid of loneliness in a group, but yearned for solitude in a noisy environment. They never knew what to do. Ning Shu stretched her back and felt refreshed. She did not need to find someone to relieve her loneliness just because she was lonely. After breakfast, they started their journey again. The 7 of them squeezed into the carriage. The carriage rocked and swayed. Suddenly, it came to a stop and neighed. Everyone's body leaned forward, and then fell back heavily. Mei Ziqing lifted the curtain and asked the coachman, "What happened?" The coachman pointed to the ground. A 5- or 6-year-old child was lying unconscious on the ground. "Why is there a child?" Mei Ziqing asked with a frown. Ning Shu jumped down from the carriage and walked to the child. "Be careful." Lars shielded Ning Shu. Ning Shu grabbed the child by his collar and shook him. "Stop sleeping." Mei Ziqing got down from the carriage and asked, "Do you know this child?" "No, but we met once." Ning Shu shook the child with all her might. The child opened his eyes and stretched out his hand to scratch Ning Shu's face. Ning Shu threw him out. He fell to the ground with a thud, stirring up dust. Everyone was speechless. How cruel! The child got up from the ground and pointed at Ning Shu. "You despicable woman." Ning Shu chuckled. She did not forget how this child poked the Luna Beast's corpse last night. Even after it died, he would not let go of the corpse. Mei Ziqing rubbed his forehead and asked tiredly, "Is this your son?" "How can my son be a weapon?" Ning Shu snapped, his eyes fixed on Mei Ziqing's wrist. Mei Ziqing didn't have a good night's rest and looked exhausted. He kept rubbing his forehead and revealed his wrist. There was a faint red mark on it. The red mark was not obvious, but Ning Shu still took it to heart. The little boy howled and rushed towards Ning Shu like a tiger cub, baring his teeth. Ning Shu pressed down on his head. The boy bared his fangs and brandished his claws, but he couldn't reach Ning Shu. "What are you trying to do?" Ning Shu asked. "If you don't tell me, I'll break you in half." "What kind of weapon are you?" Mei Ziqing glanced at the blurry mark on the back of the boy's hand. "How did you provoke a corrupted weapon?" "Corrupted weapon?" Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons were shocked. "No wonder I feel uncomfortable." Ning Shu smiled and said to Mei Ziqing's weapons, "Do you want to be corrupted?" As long as you're corrupted, you can break free from the shackles of your weapon. You don't need to rely on humans to hunt for food. You can hunt and do whatever you want. Mei Ziqing looked at Ning Shu coldly and said mockingly, "Since it's so good to be corrupted, why don't you make your weapon corrupted?" Ning Shu shrugged. "How can I make my weapon corrupted? After it's corrupted, the weapon will have to endure pain every day. Freedom comes with a price, okay? A weapon that was wrapped in negative emotions would hurt the weapon itself." "Then why do you want us to be corrupted? Woman, what are you thinking?" Mei Ziqing's weapon immediately roared at Ning Shu. "I saw that you all needed freedom, so I mentioned it casually. There's a corrupted weapon here that can guide you," Ning Shu said without any sincerity. The little boy sat on the ground and asked, "Which one of you wants to be corrupted? I can guide you." The veins on Mei Ziqing's forehead twitched. He was speechless. "Let's settle this quickly. We need to be on our way." Mei Ziqing boarded the horse carriage, and the 5 weapons followed suit. Lars shielded Ning Shu and asked, "What should we do now?" Ning Shu looked at the little boy sitting on the ground. Tell me, what's your purpose? The little boy said directly, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. The little boy was a little lost. He could not find a goal and had nothing to do. He did not know how to live. The little boy pulled out a dagger and looked at Ning Shu. A human's body is much softer than a Luna beast's body. A dagger piercing a human's body is different from a Luna beast's. Ning Shu said, Oh, don't you dare hurt my master. The crossbowman Lar stood in front of Ning Shu and looked at the little boy nervously. The little boy smiled contemptuously, full of malice. You're a defective product. Trash like you should stay in the recycle bin. Why would anyone want a defective product like you? Ning Shu did not say anything. Lar's body trembled. You're jealous of me. Yes, you're jealous. I'll be jealous of a defective product. The little boy's voice was a little shrill. I'll kill you now. Ning Shu stretched out his leg and kicked the little boy away. Then he pulled Lar into the horse carriage. Mei Ziqing asked, Is it settled? Yes, we can continue our journey, Ning Shu said calmly. Lar was speechless. The carriage started to move, and the little boy ran after it. Damned woman, I'll definitely kill you. You kicked me, so I'll cut off your leg. You touched me with your hand, so I'll remove your hand. Ning Shu lifted the curtain and stuck his head out of the carriage. Come at me if you can. Run as fast as you can. Don't get lost. Good luck. The little boy ran after the horse carriage. He was sweating profusely, and his face was red from holding back. Mei Ziqing face-bombed. What kind of depraved weapon will not rest until you're dead? How did you provoke this kind of person? If anything happens, you'll have to be careful of that little brat. Ning Shu crossed his legs and rested his chin on his hand. He said indifferently, That little brat. It'll only take a few minutes to break him. Ning Shu grabbed Mei Ziqing's weapon, the spearman's hand. He squeezed hard, and the spearman's bones cracked. The spearman's expression changed. Ning Shu let go. See, I'm very strong. I have no qualms about fighting the heavens and the earth. Everyone looked at the spearman's hand. The bones in his hand were already deformed. The weapons in the horse carriage looked at Ning Shu with eyes full of anger. Don't be too arrogant. Although your master's friend, you've damaged her weapon. Your friendship with master is really impressive. Ning Shu spread his hands and said without sincerity, It's because of her face that I'd break him in half. Mei Ziqing was speechless. Mei Ziqing didn't say anything to Ning Shu. She seemed to have a lot on her mind. Maybe she didn't have time to care about her weapon, or maybe she didn't care at all. Chapter 1635. Damned woman, stop. I'm going to kill you. I feel so bad. All of you should die, die, die. The little boy's voice came from behind the carriage, full of resentment and malice. In the carriage, Ning Shu ignored the little boy's curses. She propped up her chin and narrowed her eyes. Next to her, Lars's resentment was so strong that Ning Shu couldn't ignore it. What's the matter? Ning Shu asked. Nicole, you touched his hand, Lars said with his head lowered. Ning Shu, oh. Do you want me to crush your hand too? Ning Shu asked. Lars pursed his lips tightly. I don't like Nicole touching others. You can use your feet instead of your hands. Everyone, use your feet? You're much more violent than this strong girl. Damned woman, I can't run anymore. So, I feel so bad. I'm going to die. The little boy wailed and fell to the ground. His face was covered in dust as he looked at the carriage in front of him and cried. Ning Shu lifted the curtain. Come on. Chase me. If you catch me, I'll let you. He me. Ning Shu put down the curtain and said to the coachman, Run faster. Don't worry about the people behind us. Hiya. The coachman waved his whip and the carriage became even more bumpy. Suddenly, a dagger pierced through the carriage and into the carriage. The dagger didn't stop and went straight for the coachman. Ning Shu's blind hands were fast. She caught the dagger with her fingers, but the dagger was too strong. It dragged Ning Shu out of the carriage and he fell to the ground with a thud. Damned woman, you finally have a day like this. The little boy pointed at Ning Shu and laughed eerily. Ning Shu stood up without a change in expression. She patted the dust off her body and grabbed the dagger. The blade of the dagger was thick and shiny. There were also complicated patterns on the blade. In short, it was very beautiful. Give it back to me. The little boy looked at Ning Shu gloomily. Sure. Ning Shu flicked the dagger and threw it at the little boy's head. The little boy chuckled and held the dagger. My things won't hurt you. Oh, so you are a dagger? Ning Shu stared at the little boy. Don't treat my tolerance as fun. If there's a next time, I'll break you in half and crush you into powder. Ning Shu clenched his fists and cracked his knuckles. Why? The little boy sat on the ground and cried loudly. Ning Shu ignored him and got into the carriage, saying, We can go now. It was a tough journey. After a few days, they would occasionally come across a small town where they could wash up and replenish their supplies. Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons appeared to be impatient, and the atmosphere was restless. It was easy to encounter Luna beasts in the wild. If they wanted to eat, they had to hunt by themselves. In the past, these weapons only needed to hunt half-dead Luna beasts for food. Now, it was more difficult to hunt by themselves. The wear and tear of the weapons would make them feel uncomfortable. It was like a person doing heavy work. Their bodies would feel uncomfortable, and they would suffer from illnesses. Therefore, the 5 weapons did not look good and had many complaints about Mei Ziqing. The other weapons asked the spearmen to ask Mei Ziqing when they could reach that place. How much longer do we have until we reach this place? The spearman asked Mei Ziqing with a grim expression. Encouraged by the weapons, he asked. Ning Shu drank the meat soup and looked at the spearman impatiently. There was a hint of disgust in his eyes. Ning Shu felt that Mei Ziqing knew that the weapons who entrusted him liked the spearman. It seemed that the spearmen saw this as a disgrace. Mei Ziqing said calmly, Of course I have something to do. You are my weapons. You should follow me wherever I go. Do you have any objections? The spearman's expression froze. He turned and walked towards the 4 weapons with an ashen face. Ning Shu held the bowl and said to Mei Ziqing, I finally know what's up with these weapons. They are all spoiled. They don't have to worry about food and clothing. They only need to finish the hunt. They also get a lot of money. They enjoy such a life, but they also want dignity and freedom. You really want them to kill each other to gain the dignity of the weapons. They are making a fuss again. He wanted to be a man, but he also wanted the dignity of a man. Mei Ziqing nodded and did not say anything. Ning Shu drank the soup and glanced at Mei Ziqing's wrist. The red mark was more obvious now. It looked like a red string bracelet. This bracelet looked familiar. Ning Shu thought for a moment and asked, This is the string of affection, right? Ning Shu pointed at Mei Ziqing's wrist. Mei Ziqing covered her wrist with her sleeve and nodded. It is the string of affection. The string of affection was a tool that could make 2 people fall in love. Especially in the same plane, the string of affection would guide them. The closer they were, the hotter the string of affection would be. Some couples would wear the string of affection after falling in love to show their loyalty. Only when one party died and the string of affection was broken would the string of affection lose its effect. Firstly, it could be used as a love token. 1 red string for each person. It was beautiful and romantic. Secondly, it could sense the location of the person in love. If they were in the same plane, the string of affection would guide them. Wearing this was equivalent to a promise. It was like 2 people wearing handcuffs. As long as they were alive, the seas would run dry and the rocks would crumble. Back then, Zhang Jiasen had wanted to trick her into wearing it. It seemed that Mei Ziqing was not the only one in this world. There was another mission enforcer who had a close relationship with Mei Ziqing. It could be her lover. Ning Shu said, We are companions now. You have to tell me what might happen next. Otherwise, I will leave. Ning Shu stood up. Mei Ziqing reached out and grabbed Ning Shu's wrist. Ning Shu sat down. As you can see, there is another mission enforcer in this world. He is my lover. More accurately, he is my ex-boyfriend, Mei Ziqing said. Ning Shu was speechless. He had never heard of Mei Ziqing having a boyfriend before. He could not tell that she was hurt by love. Ning Shu was surprised by the sudden appearance of a boyfriend. Ning Shu quickly asked, "He's the one who cheated on you. I'm here to teach him a lesson." Mei Ziqing sighed. "I would rather he cheated on me than see him like this." Ning Shu was silent as he listened to Mei Ziqing speak. "Aren't you going to ask me how he is now?" "Oh, what happened to him?" Mei Ziqing touched her wrist. "He went crazy. I don't know when he became like that. He is crazy." "What did he do?" Ning Shu asked. "He wants to change the heavens. He wants to merge with the heavenly Tao," Mei Ziqing said. "Ning Shu?" It sounded very powerful. Chapter 1636. Heaven changing, merging with the heavenly Tao. Ning Shu smiled. "What the hell?" Mei Ziqing saw that Ning Shu was silent. "You think it's crazy too, right?" Ning Shu, how does the heaven changing work?" Ning Shu asked. He felt that he was not in the same dimension as these mission enforcers. Otherwise, why would he be so ignorant? This is an extremely cruel and unorthodox method. I don't know where he got the heaven-changing array. The injection of the heaven-changing array requires the most negative and evil things in the world to cause irreversible damage to the heavenly Tao. Then, with the help of the heaven-changing array, he will become the heavenly Tao and control this plane. Mei Ziqing explained everything in one breath. Ning Shu, what kind of person could create such an array? He is really crazy. He has planned this many times. With the retaliation of the heavenly Tao, he did not succeed. I also stopped him a few times. But I did not report it. My heart softens when I see him. I can't let him go on like this. Mei Ziqing covered her face with her hands and started crying. I asked you to come this time because I want you to be a witness. With you by my side, I can't let her go on like this. Ning Shu stood up and turned to leave. Mei Ziqing asked, "Where are you going?" "I don't want to do something as dangerous as the heaven-changing array. I already know about this. I will report it to the higher-ups." Ning Shu shrugged. Mei Ziqing, "Didn't you tell him?" Ning Shu asked. "And where does the evil aura that drives the heaven-changing array come from?" Mei Ziqing said faintly, killing continuously. In the heaven-changing array, the hatred, resentment, and fear of the soul will be magnified infinitely. He probably chose this world because of the existence of corrupted weapons. Mei Ziqing looked at the little boy who was holding a dagger and stabbing into the bodies of the Luna beasts. The little boy curled his lips. His eyes were cloudy and his body was emitting a black aura. His face was twisted with pleasure and pain. This kind of corrupted weapon is the best nourishment for the great sky-changing array. Mei Ziqing hugged his knees and shivered. He seemed to be cold. Ning Shu took off his coat and covered her with it. He asked, "Does he want to control a plane?" Ning Shu asked, "So it's considered your own world?" Mei Ziqing nodded. He wants to have his own world, but it's not easy for mission enforcers to have a plane where life can flourish. He was tired of this feeling of hopelessness. He was tired of always shuttling back and forth between different skins. The life of a mission enforcer is too long. Immortality is both a blessing and a punishment. But if you're killed, you'll disappear forever. Even if you want to die, you don't dare to. Ning Shu clicked her tongue twice. She really couldn't get used to this kind of melancholy style. If you're really so conflicted, then go die. You'll feel as if the whole world owes you. Of course, this was referring to Mei Ziqing's lover. Ning Shu squinted and asked, "Does he still feel lonely when you're with him?" "I just can't figure out what he's thinking." Mei Ziqing wiped her tears. "Let's put an end to this. He can't continue making mistakes like this. My indulgence and soft-heartedness will only make him go further down this path." Mei Ziqing held Ning Shu's hand. "Please come with me." Ning Shu pulled his hand away. "It's too dangerous. I'm not going. With what your boyfriend has done, he'll definitely be killed," Ning Shu said. Mei Ziqing's face was pale. "I know. He's not him anymore. He's already gone mad. He's been invaded by evil energy. He's not him anymore." Ning Shu said, "Oh. Mei Ziqing, I feel like I'm in a pickle. This was supposed to be between you two, but now I'm involved. How you want to end your relationship is your problem. If I really report it, the higher-ups will send someone to kill your lover. When you think of your lover and keep beautifying him, you'll blame me for killing him. I'm not going to take the blame. Ning Shu waved his hand and said directly. Mei Ziqing looked bitter before. Now that she heard Ning Shu's words, she couldn't help but laugh. This isn't just about my lover. It's about the plane. I'm wrong about this. I'll deal with it myself. I've dragged you into this. When I looked for you, I wanted someone to be a bystander. It seems like I have to deal with it myself. Ning Shu spread his hands. This is something you should deal with. Mei Ziqing propped up her chin and looked at the stars. Do you know? He was already a gentle person, but now he's become so crazy and evil. Ning Shu was about to doze off. Forgive me for being blunt. Your man doesn't mind eternal loneliness. He just wants to take a shortcut to get a plane. Since it was eternal life, having some time to do what he wanted was just a waste of time. Since it was eternal life, was he afraid of not having enough time? Mei Ziqing, there's a limit to a person's bottom line. Faced with the temptation of getting a plane, he couldn't control himself, Mei Ziqing said lightly. Ning Shu, oh. You've really made up your mind. You were defending him just now. Ning Shu asked. He felt like he had gotten himself into trouble. Me defending him doesn't conflict with me stopping him from making mistakes. Ning Shu, there was no doubt in this conversation. She was really in the wrong. Ning Shu stood up. I'm going to rest. I don't want to get involved in this. Mei Ziqing lowered her head and apologized. I'm sorry. If there's no one around, I might be soft-hearted towards him. I can't watch him make mistakes. I'm afraid he'll be killed and disappear forever. Ning Shu, phew, he was cursing in his heart. Ning Shu shouted at the blackened weapon that was torturing the Luna Beast's corpse. Poke your head. What did the corpse do to you? Why do you look like you've been betrayed by the whole world? Who are you trying to impress? You're sick. If you're sick, go home and take your medicine. The kid who poked the corpse. Ning Shu wanted to climb up a tree to rest. Lars lifted Ning Shu and Ning Shu up the tree. Ning Shu looked at Mei Ziqing under the tree. This incident made Ning Shu very unhappy. Mei Ziqing, I don't like you like this. You used to be so carefree. I can't bear to see you like this, Ning Shu said directly. Ning Shu had to consider whether he should continue to interact with Mei Ziqing in the future. Mei Ziqing lifted her head. Ning Shu smiled. I've always been carefree. It's just that there are some things that I can't do. If you want to kill someone who loves you with your own hands, the person you love, what would you do? Mei Ziqing asked Ning Shu. Chapter 1637. There were two reasons to kill your lover. One was love, and the other was morality. If they didn't stop it, who knew how long this massacre would continue? Mei Ziqing's lover seemed to have gone crazy. She went from a gentle person to a crazy person. What are you going to do? Mei Ziqing looked up at Ning Shu, who was sitting on the tree. Just tell me what I should do. How can I get out of this situation? Ning Shu, that's not right. Love is between the two of you. Now that there's a problem, why are you asking me? When the two of you are in love, I have no part in it. Ning Shu's words were a little harsh. Mei Ziqing sighed. I'm sorry. I know you don't feel good. Yes, I don't feel good. Ning Shu said directly. When there's a sign, it should be stopped immediately. Dragging it out has led to this situation. Are you worried that if you report it, the higher-ups will punish your boyfriend? Are you worried that your boyfriend will treat you badly? If it's true love, you should have the courage to accept your man's hatred. Ning Shu sighed. I know it's hard to do. After all, I haven't experienced this kind of thing. I can't say much about your relationship. Ning Shu lay on the tree branch. He couldn't be bothered to say anything to Mei Ziqing. There were thousands of knots in love. If they couldn't be cut, it would be messy. The next morning, Ning Shu said to Mei Ziqing, let's part here. I won't be going. Mei Ziqing pursed her lips and said, Ning Shu, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong. Ning Shu waved his hand. It's okay. But love is between two people. Your boyfriend killed so many people. He has karma. The end result won't be good. Mei Ziqing said, "It's my fault. From the beginning, I should have hardened my heart. Things wouldn't have turned out this way." Mei Ziqing smiled at Ning Shu. He took out some food from the tent and passed it to Lar. Ning Shu said, "I've thought it through. I shouldn't have dragged you into this." Lar took the package and held it in his arms as he looked at Ning Shu. In any case, he would go wherever his master went. Ning Shu sighed heavily. "I'd better go with you. If something really happens, we can take care of each other. But let's make it clear, if anything happens, you have to cover for me to leave. Your man definitely won't bear to kill you." Mei Ziqing. "Then I might as well go myself. You'll be a burden. What's the use of having you around?" Ning Shu asked Lar, "Are you going or not?" "Go ahead. If he stopped Mei Ziqing's boyfriend, he might gain some merit. Besides, he had already come all the way here. It was impossible for him to not go." Ning Shu didn't like this Mei Ziqing. A lot of troubles were self-inflicted. Since they were together because of mutual love, why couldn't they support each other? Mei Ziqing patted Ning Shu's shoulder. "Don't be so soft-hearted next time. I know you agreed to go because of me." "No, I'm going for the merit." Ning Shu's face was cold. Mei Ziqing touched Ning Shu's forehead. "Don't be too soft-hearted next time. I'm an example. Do you understand?" Lar, who was holding the package and looking at the two of them, was speechless. What's with this weird atmosphere? Lar was very unhappy. He pulled Ning Shu aside and said, "Although I don't understand what you're talking about, it seems like you lied to my master." Ning Shu nodded. "Yes, she lied to me. I feel so wronged, so wronged." Mei Ziqing waved his hand. "Don't worry, it's just a lie. I really couldn't find anyone else, so I went to your master. You clearly know that my master is a poor country girl and that you are the daughter of a wealthy family, yet you still deceived my master." Lar stood in front of Ning Shu and protected him behind him. He looked at Mei Ziqing with an ugly expression. Ning Shu nodded. "Yes, she lied to me." Mei Ziqing was speechless. "Your master is not a country girl, nor is she a weak person. Is she an ordinary person to be able to crush the bones of her weapon?" Mei Ziqing wanted to speak to Ning Shu again, but Lar blocked Ning Shu. Mei Ziqing was speechless. Mei Ziqing had no choice but to go hunting with his weapons. The 5 weapons followed behind Mei Ziqing weakly. When Mei Ziqing was far away, Lar turned to Ning Shu and asked, "I heard your friend call you Ning Shu. You're not called Nicole?" Ning Shu shrugged. "Was I?" "Yes." Lar nodded. "I heard it clearly." "Really?" "I already said that there are 2 people in one body. Since they're different people, they have different names. I named myself Ning Shu." Lar rubbed his chin and pondered. "Then I can't call you Nicole anymore. I have to call you Ning Shu. A name is just a form of address. You can call me whatever you want." Ning Shu looked around. "I'll bring you to hunt." Lar turned into a crossbow and placed it in Ning Shu's hands. Ning Shu held the crossbow and walked past the little boy who was poking the Luna Beast's corpse without changing his expression. After taking a few steps, Ning Shu turned back and said to the little boy, "Why are you torturing the corpse? What kind of hobby is this?" "I'm in pain. I want everyone to be in pain, including you." The little boy stabbed the dagger into the Luna Beast's body. The corners of his mouth curled up as he smiled sinisterly at Ning Shu. "One day I will stab this dagger into your body. Warm blood will splash out, and your soft flesh will be pierced by the dagger." Ning Shu rolled his eyes and said disdainfully, "Idiot, these filthy things will only make you feel more pain. The faster it corrodes, the faster it will disappear." The little boy laughed. "I'm in pain, I'm in pain, I'm in pain. Since you've chosen to be evil, this is the price you have to pay. Bear with it," Ning Shu said with a smile. "Master, let's not add fuel to the fire." Lar couldn't help but say. He was afraid that his master would drive him crazy. The little boy stabbed the dagger into the Luna Beast's corpse. The place where the dagger was stabbed had turned into minced meat. The Luna Beast's corpse was beyond recognition. "Oh, he..." Ning Shu covered his mouth and laughed. He walked past the little boy arrogantly. Lar was speechless. Was this really okay? Ning Shu killed a few more Luna beasts. When Lar didn't need to eat anymore, he went back slowly. When he returned to the bonfire, Mei Ziqing had already returned. However, all 5 of her weapons were injured. They were just hunting. How did they end up like this? Mei Ziqing looked indifferent. She didn't heal the weapons. It was obvious that she wanted to teach the weapons a lesson. When Mei Ziqing saw Ning Shu, she smiled and waved at Ning Shu. "You're back. We have to go." Mei Ziqing's weapons were speechless. Damn, they couldn't even compare to a country girl. Chapter 1638. It wasn't that Mei Ziqing's weapons didn't sense the change in their users' attitudes. But based on their previous experience, they would always coax them and apologize if they did something overboard. That cowardly user would forgive them. But now, when they were hunting, the user didn't seem to care about them. She just chopped at whatever was hard. The 5 weapons suffered a lot because of the wear and tear. They had never suffered like this before. Even the spear squad that the user liked was not surprised. They didn't escape the fate of being abused. Now that they saw the user treating a country girl with such a kind attitude, the 5 weapons were indignant. They looked at Ning Shu with displeasure. Ning Shu ignored their gazes and boarded the carriage. The little boy also climbed into the carriage. Ning Shu stretched out his leg, wanting to kick him down. The little boy hugged Ning Shu's leg and cried, "Don't throw me down. I can't run." Ning Shu shook his leg but couldn't shake the little boy off. "Let go." "Sister, sister," the little boy cried so pitifully that one couldn't bear to see him cry. Ning Shu said, "Scram." The little boy hugged Ning Shu's leg and refused to let go. Ning Shu held his forehead. "If you want to go, then go. Anyway, the place we're going to is the graveyard of your fallen weapons. Let's go." "I'm not afraid," the little boy said. Even if Ning Shu agreed, he wouldn't let go. He took out a dagger and wanted to stab Ning Shu's leg. Ning Shu stepped on the little boy's hand with her other foot and squeezed it. "Behave yourself." Mei Ziqing. He always felt that the things around this girl would become quite strange. The little boy sobbed as he stared at Ning Shu with his teary eyes. Ning Shu didn't feel anything. He ignored the boy's gaze and closed his eyes to rest. After a few days of bumpy travel, they finally reached their destination. It was a huge mountain with a few villages built around it. Not far from the mountain was a small town. But this town wasn't prosperous. They seemed to be ordinary people with fewer martial artists and fewer weapons. Ning Shu's group arrived at the town and found a restaurant to settle down. Mei Ziqing sat by the window and looked at the few people on the street. He was a little worried. Ning Shu ordered a table of dishes and then asked the waiter, "Are there not many people in your town?" Ning Shu gave the waiter a few copper coins as a tip. The waiter looked very happy. Ning Shu said, "Sir, you may not know, but I don't know what happened recently. Many people have gone missing. You guys shouldn't go anywhere either. Some villages are empty, disappearing for no reason at all. Many people have fled." Ning Shu ate while listening to the waiter. Mei Ziqing waved at the waiter, and the waiter left. Ning Shu swallowed the food in his mouth and said, "It seems that your boyfriend has already taken action. There doesn't seem to be any weapons in this town. Could it be that they have all been used as sacrifices to the great heaven-changing array?" Ning Shu glanced outside the window. Mei Ziqing put down his chopsticks and said tiredly, "In this situation, there's no need to think. It should be him." But Ning Shu rolled his eyes. Wasn't this obvious? Why was he so conflicted? He was doing it for the plane. Why was he asking why? Actually, Mei Ziqing's hidden meaning was, why didn't you care about me and did such a thing? You knew that this was a very dangerous thing. Why did you do it without caring about our future? What a difficult thing to do. The blackened boy held a dagger and poked the steamed fish corpse again and again. Why was this child always so interested in torturing corpses? Ning Shu ignored the child poking the corpse. This child was a dagger, and his name was Dagger Mu. As for the reason for his blackening, no one knew. He was in a very painful state every day. According to Lars, the pain of a corrupted weapon was like breaking the weapon, and this pain would continue. Ning Shu only had one word. Everyone's path was difficult. Ning Shu didn't feel much about corrupted weapons. He didn't hate them, but he didn't like them either. It was just plain. Corrupted weapons were weapons that people hated because they were stained with human flesh. Dagger Mu seemed to feel uncomfortable if he didn't poke something for a day. He looked like he wanted to destroy the world. He was in pain, and others had to suffer with him. He wanted to destroy the world. Mei Ziqing said, "I'll go find him after dinner." The sky-changing array needs to be set up in a hidden place. This array is very big, covering a radius of 10 miles. As long as the formation is activated, all living beings within the range of the formation will be stripped of their life force, including their souls. Ning Shu was speechless. Damn, this is a huge sin. If we step into the array and your boyfriend activates it, we'll all die. We'll be sacrificing our souls and life force. Ning Shu felt that he had dug a hole for himself. How good would it have been if he had just left? Mei Ziqing shook her head and said, "Wait for me here. I'll go by myself." Mei Ziqing and Ning Shu smiled. "Thank you. You agreed to my request so readily. I've kept many things from you." Ning Shu rolled his eyes. "What's the use of saying such things now?" Ning Shu rubbed his forehead. He felt a headache coming on. Such a heaven-defying array was created by that person who ate too much. Did it have any flaws? No, the flaws were obvious. It gathered the evilest things in the world and had a huge impact on one's mind. Even a mission enforcer's mind was blinded by the temptation of pursuing such power. Ning Shu suspected that even if it merged with the heavenly Tao, this plane wouldn't be able to hold on for long. It was chaos. In the end, it couldn't hold on any longer and exploded. Countless pieces of trash were produced, causing a huge impact on the surrounding planes. An individual's strength was weak, but a butterfly could also cause a huge storm. Mei Ziqing said firmly to Ning Shu, "If something really happens to me, report it to the higher-ups." Ning Shu asked, "How do I know if something happened to you?" Mei Ziqing touched the string of affection on her wrist. The string of affection that was previously hidden under her skin was now completely exposed. It was a simple red string. "There's one more thing." Ning Shu took a sip of tea and put down the teacup. "You seem to have to complete the mission. If something really happens to you, your mission won't be completed." Mei Ziqing scratched her head. "I came here prepared to be obliterated." Ning Shu stood up and could not help but say, "Are you retarded? Do you want to disappear with that man? It wasn't easy for you to become a super mission enforcer. You worked so hard to understand the nomological laws just to be obliterated with that man?" Chapter 1639. When Ning Shu heard that Mei Ziqing was prepared to be obliterated, he felt very uncomfortable. "I really don't like the way you are now. Since you've made up your mind, don't drag things out. You know that there's no turning back, so what are you still hoping for? Your lover's mind is so lost that he might not even recognize you, yet you still want to disappear with him. Don't tell me that this is your wish. If we die together. You have to think carefully. Mission enforcers will disappear without a chance to be reincarnated, let alone have an afterlife." Ning Shu didn't want to say it, but he was very unhappy. This wasn't the Mei Ziqing he knew. She was no longer the same person after getting involved with this thing. She always had unrealistic fantasies. Ning Shu was very angry. What kind of person could make Mei Ziqing like this? Mei Ziqing looked at Ning Shu angrily and said, "I've never thought of disappearing with him. I've prepared beforehand. I have a tool to resist obliteration. Don't worry." Ning Shu shook his head. "I'm not worried. I just feel like you've been taken over by someone. You're not the Mei Ziqing I knew. Indeed, love is all brainless. It was all based on feelings." Mei Ziqing was speechless. "I was partly responsible for him becoming like this. If I had stopped him earlier, he wouldn't have become like this. This matter will always be in my heart. It will slowly grow into a tumor. I can't watch him go crazy anymore. He's always wanted to get rid of his identity as a mission enforcer. But how can it be so easy? You either become strong or disappear completely. Mei Ziqing's face was pale. The strings of affection on her wrist shone with a bright red light. Mei Ziqing's lover should be nearby, no matter how far she was, given such a huge reaction from the strings of affection. Ning Shu asked, "Have you reported this matter to the higher-ups? Don't tell me you haven't reported it and are going to find your lover yourself? Little sister, please calm down." Mei Ziqing remained silent. Ning Shu face-bombed. "You didn't report it, did you? Mei Ziqing, what are you trying to do?" Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu smiled. "Anla, I've already reported it. Don't worry, I won't implicate you in this matter. If something really happens to me, you can report it again." Ning Shu cursed inwardly. She hadn't even completed her mission yet. She hadn't even found out who killed Lar and Nicole. This time, Mei Ziqing had really screwed her over. She wasn't really screwed over. After all, she had come willingly. She was just a little disgusted. She really wanted to give him a tight slap. Ning Shu didn't say anything even if he had to climb a mountain of swords or plunge into a sea of flames. He was just so lovey-dovey and incomparably confused. Things that even the person involved couldn't decide were the most annoying. If she made a move, she would resent her in the future. However, she wasn't the person involved, so she definitely wouldn't understand how it felt. Can only hang high, but that didn't stop her from making sarcastic remarks. They ate their meal very slowly. The sun was about to set. It seemed like they wouldn't be able to go today. Mei Ziqing still had a whole night to think about. They stayed at the inn. When night fell, the entire town was very quiet. There wasn't a single person on the streets. There wasn't even the sound of the night watch. It was like a ghost town. Ning Shu and Lar were in the same room. Ning Shu slept on the bed while Lar slept on the floor. There was also a corrupted weapon, Dagger Mu, squeezed together with Lar. It was laughing under the blankets, hugging Lar, making Lar very uncomfortable. Corrupted weapons were a type of disgusting existence that normal weapons didn't like. Corrupted weapons would make normal weapons restless. Affected. Ning Shu grabbed Dagger Mu's collar. "Don't come near my weapon." Dagger Mu didn't struggle as Ning Shu grabbed him by the collar. He lowered his limbs and raised his head. Ning Shu laughed, his face full of malice and mockery. "Why are you afraid of me coming near your weapon? If you really trust and are loyal to each other, no matter how much I encourage it, it won't turn evil and eat your flesh. No matter how scared you are." Ning Shu loosened his grip and Dagger Mu fell to the ground. Ning Shu stepped on him, crushing him. "What's there to be afraid of? I've never doubted my weapon's character. It's just that when a toad falls on the instep, it doesn't bite but it's disgusting." Dagger Mu was still laughing as Ning Shu stepped on him. "It's hypocritical and disgusting humans like you that are the most annoying." Ning Shu, "Oh. I also hate people like you the most. When you get hurt a little, you feel like the whole world has betrayed you. It's just a small matter." Ning Shu stepped on Dagger Mu's face. Dagger Mu. He had never seen such a cruel woman. She trampled on his dignity. "I'll fight you to the death." He stepped on Dagger Mu's face again. Dagger Mu, damn woman, I'm going to kill you." Ning Shu kicked Dagger Mu away and said to Lar, "If he comes near you again, kick him away. You're just making yourself suffer." Lar nodded. "Got it." Ning Shu made a trumpet with his hand and said loudly to Lar, "Don't talk to this coward in the future." "Who are you calling a coward?" Dagger Lar stood up with his head lowered and his arms hanging by his side. Ning Shu made a trumpet with his hand and shouted at Dagger Mu, "I'm talking about you, coward. You chose to turn evil, chose to fall, and now you want to take revenge on the whole world. There's a price to pay for everything. Since you've chosen to go dark, you'll have to walk down the path you've chosen." Choosing to fall meant that he no longer needed to be controlled by others, and he didn't need humans to help him hunt. Shouldn't there be a price? People always blame their failure on the environment. I was forced to do this. I found many excuses for my failure. Dagger Mu laughed. "A woman who only knows how to say disgusting things. What do you know? Disgusting woman who only knows how to talk big. I'm going to tear you apart." Lar stood in front of Ning Shu. Mu, if you dare to do anything to my master, I won't let you go. You're nothing but a defective product. Dagger Muji mocked. His voice was filled with endless malice. Lar said, yes, I'm a defective product. Do you have a problem with that? Why don't a piece of trash like you die? Why don't you die? Die. You're really a disgusting thing. Die. Dagger Mu screamed. Ning Shu, it seemed that she had nothing to do with this anymore. The two weapons started to quarrel. How long are you going to be so stubborn? Can't you talk nicely? Lar punched Lar in the head. Chapter 1640. Ning Shu saw Lar's actions and felt a little horrified. Lar's head was swollen, but he didn't resist. Ning Shu was even more shocked. Ning Shu looked at Lar and Mu from the corner of her eyes. She didn't know what had happened between them. Ning Shu, I can discipline him. He's being tortured by the user because he's young, Lar said to Ning Shu. The corners of Ning Shu's mouth twitched. Hurry up and pull it. Your weapons have mature minds, regardless of age. When did you guys connect? Ning Shu asked with a raised eyebrow. Mu the dagger started laughing again. Ning Shu said with disdain, what are you laughing at? You're laughing so hard. Were you suspecting your weapon just now? Suspecting that your weapon is in cahoots with me? Are you thinking that your weapon has been influenced by me? Will it eat your flesh and become corrupted? Ning Shu was speechless. You're a little crazy. Lar quickly said to Ning Shu, I won't betray you. Really? I know. I trust you. Why would I trust a corrupted weapon that wants to take revenge on the whole world? Lar punched Mu's head again and said to her, apologize to my master. I won't apologize. She really suspected you just now. Argodar. Get rid of this disgusting human from now on, Mu said to Lar, covering her head. I won't betray my master. If it wasn't for her, I would be dead now. Lar's face darkened. Apologize to my master. I won't. Mu stiffened her neck. Then leave. Don't follow us. You've always wanted to hurt my master, Lar said coldly. I won't. Lar pouted. She was about to cry. Lar, why do you want to be with humans? They're hypocritical and fickle. They're cruel and evil. Ning Shu was speechless. Lar and Mu's style was a little strange. Ning Shu kicked Mu out of the window and asked Lar, you want to take him with you? Damn woman, I'm going to tear you apart. Lar shouted from downstairs. Lar was silent for a moment, then said, Mu is an innocent child. His first contract was with a child. Perhaps the child's ignorance and viciousness caused him harm. Ning Shu, oh. With some training, it can still be master's weapon. Although it's fallen, it can still be used. Oh, your master has been forced to use a corrupted weapon? You think too highly of your mental fortitude and state of mind. To pollute a cup of water, only 1 drop of ink is needed. But to restore a cup of polluted water to its original state, no amount of ink can do it, Ning Shu said. Dagger Mu is a drop of ink. Lars lowered his head. I know. Ning Shu face-bombed. Let him follow you if you want. However, a normal weapon will be affected by a corrupted weapon. You're the one suffering. Why do you want to keep Dagger Mu with you even if you have to endure the pain? Or have you been corrupted by him? Ning Shu asked the question in his heart openly. Lars said firmly, I will never be corrupted. If I am corrupted, I will kill myself. I will not eat your flesh to extend my life. Ning Shu was tired. A corrupted weapon was randomly thrown in, and it seemed that this corrupted weapon was always trying to poach him. And Lars seemed to want to use this weapon for his own use. You want to use love to influence him? Ning Shu lay on the bed and asked, let him feel that there is true love in this world. Lar? I just feel that he is a child who is throwing a tantrum. I don't want to influence him. Master can use sex, Lar said. I'm so tired. Ning Shu waved his hand. Dagger Mu went upstairs and roared at Ning Shu on the bed. I'm going to kill you. Kill you. Lar's face darkened. Don't speak so loudly. Dagger Mu's expression froze. He lowered his voice and whispered, damned woman, I'm going to kill you. Kill you. You can't call me master. Damned woman, she has a name. You can't say that you're going to kill her, Lar said. Dagger Moo was impatient. Lar, go ahead. I will protect you from now on. You don't have to follow this human. Ning Shu looked back and forth between Lar and Dagger Moo. He had some guesses. People always said that birds of a feather flock together. Dagger Moo considered Lar to be one of his kind. Lar was a defective product, while Dagger Moo was a corrupted weapon. Loneliness and Lar's attitude made Dagger Moo hold on to Lar tightly. Compared to other weapons, Lar's attitude towards Dagger Moo was much better. He even had the air of a strict elder brother. Ning Shu held his forehead and closed his eyes to rest. He ignored the two weapons. Was it good or bad to have this corrupted weapon by his side? The next morning, Mei Ziqing had her breakfast. She packed her things and was about to go find her lover. Ning Shu walked her to the door. Mei Ziqing smiled and said, "I'm leaving." Ning Shu confirmed again, "Did you really report it? This is not a small matter." "I did. Don't worry. I'm afraid you'll be soft-hearted," Ning Shu said. It seemed that Mei Ziqing's lover had tried to use the sky-changing array a few times, but it had all failed. Mei Ziqing didn't report it because she was soft-hearted. She should have destroyed it back then. "Why don't we just leave him alone? There are plenty of people who can take care of him," Ning Shu said to Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing looked at the mountain in the distance. "Ning Shu, there are some things and feelings that you won't understand." "Okay, I don't understand. Go ahead." "I won't go." Ning Shu raised his hand. She wouldn't interfere in the affairs of the couple. "If anything happens to me, please report it again. Sorry to trouble you." Mei Ziqing left with her 5 weapons. Lar walked over. Ning Shu asked, "She's gone. Aren't you going?" Ning Shu shrugged. "I'm not going. It's too dangerous." She would just wait patiently. When the time came, she would waste a privilege ticket. Ning Shu wouldn't get involved in such a dangerous matter. Ning Shu spent his days leisurely in the inn. Chapter 1641. Ning Shu was bored out of her mind. She rested her chin on her hand and said to 2333, "Help me write a report about this." 2333 said, "It's a waste of an authorization ticket. You can't report anything that you can't handle in the future." Ning Shu said, "I'm scared. I'll report it. If I don't have an authorization ticket, I'll ask Mei Ziqing for one." "What if Mei Ziqing doesn't have one?" 2333 asked. "Then let her owe it. She must pay it back." Ning Shu propped up her chin and looked at Lar and Mu the dagger through the window. The two of them were buying some toys from a small stall. "What if she doesn't pay you back? What if you run into another problem that you can't solve?" 2333 asked. Ning Shu thought for a while and said, "You don't want me to help Mei Ziqing? Because there's no way you can help her." 2333 said directly. "The friendship between gentlemen is as clear as water." Ning Shu said, "Oh, I'll report it. Let's get through this first." "Reporting it twice will attract attention," Ning Shu said. 2333 said casually, "Then how should I write the report?" Ning Shu rolled his eyes. "Just say that someone wants to steal the day." 2333, "Oh." After a while, 2333 submitted the report. Ning Shu said, "There's only one authorization ticket. It's okay if there's none. There'll be more." Ning Shu said casually. Ning Shu drank tea and ate sunflower seeds. He looked out the window and practiced his ultimate martial arts. Multitasking, so easy. To be honest, Ning Shu didn't dare to practice ultimate martial arts. He was afraid that his body would become a black hole because his energy center was getting deeper and deeper. It was like a vast universe. In the end, he would lose himself. He was afraid. Ning Shu felt guilty. He had to figure out everything on his own. Ning Shuchao said to 2333, "Ask Mei Ziqing's system, how is Mei Ziqing now?" 2333 said, "Can you not ask so often? Talking like this is a waste of the system's power. Besides, even if you ask, the system might not give you an answer. Save it," 2333 said. "You already asked 2 hours ago." How many times have I suffered from the system's disdain on your behalf? 2333 sounded like he had been wronged. Ning Shu's mouth twitched. You didn't seem to be very polite. Maybe the system doesn't like you. Do you have a low EQ? Everyone liked to hear nice words. If you didn't stand on ceremony the moment you went up, the other party would scold you if they felt uncomfortable. You should be more careful. I'll be interacting with more and more mission enforcers in the future. If you're like this, I think my future days will be miserable. Ning Shu said helplessly. If it was in the modern plane, it would be fine. With just a phone call, he could know the other party's situation. But now, in this plane where communication was not developed, he could only know the other party's situation through the system. With 2333 like this, Ning Shu felt a little awkward. Do you not want to be my system? Is that why you're so casual about my affairs? Ning Shu propped up his chin and looked out the window. 2333 immediately said, I've never thought of that. We're bound together. Harming your interests is harming mine. I'm not that stupid. Ning Shu, oh. The next day, Ning Shu asked 2333 again, any news from the other side? The other side's system didn't send a message. 2333 said. Ning Shu frowned. Why was there no news at all? Could it be that the two of them had gone to live together? Or else they'd gone to be lovey-dovey. Burn a couple to death, oh utensils. The waiter served breakfast and said to Ning Shu, Sir, please renew your bill. Ning Shu, didn't the previous person pay? Mei Ziqing had leaked a little bit of money. It was enough for her to stay for 10 days to half a month. Mei Ziqing didn't pay? She was too muddle-headed. She did. It seems that the lady wanted her weapon back. She said she couldn't stay for that long. The waiter said, Ning Shu, what did she look like? Red hair. Spear class. Ning Shu rolled her eyes. She guessed that he was still holding a grudge against her for crushing his hand. Mei Ziqing definitely didn't notice. It seemed that he had been using his own money to eat and drink recently. Ning Shu felt a chill in his heart. Ning Shu returned most of the breakfast and said to the waiter, I can't eat this much. I don't want the rest. It's not easy to return this. Ning Shu licked the plate clean. When it was time to check out, the manager was calculating on the abacus. Ning Shu took out all his savings, but it still couldn't make up for the past few days of eating and drinking. Ning Shu stared at the dagger class. Do you have money? You're staying in the room. Dagger Mu Jiejie laughed. Ning Shu laughed like an owl. What are you laughing at? Do you have money? No. Lar took out some money from his body. Ning Shu asked, where did you get it? I saved it. Did you forget that I've been collecting the money from selling the beast cores? Lar said to Ning Shu. Lar was really a good man. After leaving the inn, Ning Shu wandered around the streets with his two weapons. He found a place to sit down. He was sleeping on the streets again. What a bad life. Go dark. Your master is so poor that he doesn't even have money. If you go dark, I'll protect you. Dagger Mu encouraged Lar again. Lar said indifferently, I used to be in the recycling station. I just slept on the streets. Dagger Mu fiercely glared at Ning Shu. Ning Shu looked at Dagger Mu with disdain. This little guy wanted to steal him from her. Ning Shu stood up and sat down. He sat down and stood up again. He didn't feel comfortable. He asked 2333, what's going on over there? My usage is limited. Can I exchange for something powerful? Ning Shu asked. 2333 nodded. What do you want to exchange for? Ning Shu didn't know what to exchange for. He thought for a moment and said, how about something that's not affected by the formation? Let me see if there's anything in the shop. Lars saw Ning Shu's expression and asked, did something happen? You look a little panicked. Am I panicking? I don't think so. I'm just... Before Ning Shu could finish, he saw the leaves on the roadside turning yellow. Soon the leaves fell to the ground. The tree withered in no time. Ning Shu looked at the people walking on the street. Some young and old people fell to the ground. Ning Shu felt some kind of power sucking the life out of her body. Even her soul was being pulled out of her body. Chapter 1642. More and more people fell to the ground. Their eyes were empty, and all signs of life had been taken away. They had turned into dried corpses. In such a strange situation, Ning Shu instantly thought of the Great Sky-Changing Array formation. Why would the heaven-changing formation appear in the town? Could it be that Mei Ziqing's lover had placed the heaven-changing formation in the town? But there were more creatures in the forest. There were countless trees, plants, animals, and souls. Why would it appear in the town? 2333's voice appeared in Ning Shu's mind. Mei Ziqing told you that her lover had activated the heaven-changing formation. Originally, it only covered about 10 kilometers, but now it has expanded to 50 kilometers. The town is within its range. Ning Shu said, "Fuck. Mei Ziqing wants you to run. Her lover has put everything on the line. 50 kilometers is the limit of the formation." 2333 Ning Shu said. Ning Shu felt like he was in trouble. How could he run? Before he could escape the range of the formation, his life had been taken away. Ning Shu looked up at the sky. It was gray, and there was something blocking his vision. Lar and Mu were in pain. They held their heads and squatted down. It was very painful to forcibly take one's soul out of one's body. A strong suction force tried to suck Ning Shu's soul out of his body and into the sky. Ning Shu used his qi and drew a talisman on Lar and Mu's foreheads. These talismans could fix the soul in the body. Lar and Ben looked better. They were not in so much pain. But they could only hold on for a while. The power of the formation was getting stronger. Ning Shu could not hold on any longer. It felt like his soul was going to be sucked out of his body at any time. "Did you find something that can fix the soul?" Ning Shu asked Ning Shu anxiously. "Do you want the soul anchoring pill?" 2333 Ning Shu asked. "Now we just need to solve the problem," Ning Shu said. "But it's a little expensive. It costs 5 merit points for one pill." Ning Shu gritted his teeth. "Yes, I want 3. 3 golden pills appeared in Ning Shu's hand. Ning Shu gave one each to Lar and Muse the dagger. Then he stuffed one into his mouth. "Damned woman, what did you feed me?" Dagger Mu dug into his throat. The moment the steadying soul pill entered his mouth, his soul felt as if it was being weighed down by a heavy weight. He no longer felt as light as a feather. The 3 of them felt much better. Ning Shu wiped his sweat and asked 2333, "Where is Mei Ziqing now?" "Get Mei Ziqing's system to give us a location and a map." Ning Shu was very unhappy. 2333 said confidently. He probably went to attack Mei Ziqing's system again. After a while, 2333 said, "Mei Ziqing is in the mountains." Ning Shu smiled. "I know she's in the mountains. Where is she?" "The other party's system gave me the location. I just have to follow it. This feels so good." The other party's system is so cowardly. Ning Shu was speechless. No matter how you looked at it, Mei Ziqing was in the wrong. 2333 was taking advantage of her. Ning Shu said to Lar, "We're going to find my friend now." Lar nodded. "I'll go wherever you go." In a short while, the people in the town were all dead. Some of the trees had also withered. Ning Shu went to a shop and found some biscuits. The shop owner was already dead and had turned into a dried corpse. It was hard to imagine how many people had died in a 50-mile radius. Mei Ziqing didn't seem to have killed her lover and allowed him to activate the sky-changing array. As long as she wasn't affected by the array, she was invincible. Lar put the biscuits into his body and took some water from the shop. Ning Shu looked at Dagger Mu. "What can you do?" Dagger Mu grabbed a bowl and put it into his body. "I can also stuff things. I'm also very strong. I'm a person with off the charts." Ning Shu chuckled. Ning Shu started to look for Mei Ziqing according to the map given by the system. Ning Shu suspected that Mei Ziqing's heart had softened again. This made Ning Shu very unhappy. Since she had made up her mind, why drag it out? The sky-changing array covered a 50-mile radius. Ning Shu shuttled through the forest and found the red. The last place he found was a small lake. Mei Ziqing was tied up and thrown on the ground like a caterpillar. The entire forest had withered. The grass on the ground had turned yellow. Even the ground had become dry. Ning Shu reached out to Dagger Mu. Dagger Mu ignored Ning Shu. Lar said, "Turn into a weapon. Let the owner cut the rope." Dagger Mu was very impatient, but he still turned into a dagger. Ning Shu walked over and wanted to cut the rope around Mei Ziqing. However, Ning Shu couldn't cut the rope even after a long time. Mei Ziqing smiled at Ning Shu. "Why you here? Why are you tied up? With your ability, can't you cut the rope?" Ning Shu cut the rope. It seemed that the rope was really sturdy. Sigh, all life within a 50-mile radius has been wiped out. Ning Shu sighed. Mei Ziqing didn't know what expression to make. "Why you tied up by him? Is this a bondage play?" Mei Ziqing was speechless. "Why you still joking? Don't waste your energy. It can't be cut. This is a product of the system. He's been guarding against me," Mei Ziqing said. Ning Shu looked around and didn't see Mei Ziqing's 5 weapons. "Where are the weapons?" Ning Shu asked. Mei Ziqing lifted his chin and signaled Ning Shu to look over. Ning Shu looked at the lake. "That turned into scrap metal and thrown into the lake? Killed by him?" Ning Shu asked. Mei Ziqing nodded. Ning Shu grinned. All 5 of his weapons were killed. TSK, Mei Ziqing's mission was already half done. "Where's your lover?" Ning Shu looked around. What kind of person was he? How should I stop him? Ning Shu looked at the gray sky. Just use violence to defeat him. "Where's your man?" Ning Shu looked at him from the corner of his eyes. "You can't do anything if I tie you up?" "Mei Ziqing, you're being soft-hearted again. Can't you do something?" Ning Shu felt helpless. "He's up there. He doesn't have a body now. His soul has fused with the sky-changing array. When he absorbs the life force, the hatred, and fear in his soul, his strength will increase. At that time, the sky-changing array will cover a larger area." Ning Shu was speechless. Good game. Ning Shu used all his strength to pull the rope tied to Mei Ziqing. He wanted to break the rope. "It's useless. If I don't do it myself, I can't break it." Mei Ziqing shook his head. Chapter 1643. Since he couldn't open it, Ning Shu gave up and said, "Everywhere is desolate and deprived of life. You're still fine. He really can't bear to leave you." Mei Ziqing closed his eyes and didn't say anything. Ning Shu clenched his fists and looked up at the array in the sky. By the time Mei Ziqing's lover had completely absorbed the life force and souls within a radius of 50 miles, the array formation could cover an area of 80 miles or even 100 miles. Moreover, the land where the life was absorbed would start to turn into deserts. He had to break the array. Ning Shu clenched his fists and flew up, using his fists to resist the array. When his fists and the array came into contact, Ning Shu felt as if he had punched a very thick bulletproof glass. Ning Shu's hand hurt, and a huge rebound force sent her flying back. Ning Shu fell heavily on the ground, kicking up a thick layer of dust. Lar said, "Master?" Dagger Mu said, "You deserve it." Dagger Mu saw Ning Shu running over and could only look at him from the corner of his eyes. He asked, "Are you dead?" Ning Shu spat out a mouthful of blood and rubbed her chest. It was fucking painful. Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing, "How can I break this thing? Give me a hint." Mei Ziqing was tied up like a caterpillar. Ning Shu shouted, "It needs a huge amount of power to break it. It would be best if you could break this array." Ning Shu said, "Get lost." The array was 50 miles in radius. It was so complicated that it would be too late to break it. Mei Ziqing's lover seemed to have put all his eggs in one basket. He probably couldn't handle the array within 50 miles. Ning Shu jumped up from the ground. He wiped the blood from his mouth and looked up at the sky. Ning Shu said to Lar, "Take me with you." Lar didn't know what Ning Shu was doing, but he was very worried about him. Ning Shu waved his hand and said to Lar, "You guys go to the side. I'll try again." Ning Shu clenched his fists and mobilized the power of the stars in his dantian. She had never used this kind of power before, but now she wanted to try it. The power of the stars poured into Ning Shu's fist, and Ning Shu felt an immense power gushing out. When Ning Shu rushed towards the formation in the sky, he was like a meteorite full of power. With gushing power, he charged towards the formation. The power of the spell formation collided with the power of the stars, creating a loud sound. The whole world seemed to be shaking. It was as if a meteorite had landed on the ground. The huge force bounced Ning Shu back, and he fell to the ground with a plop. Ning Shu spat out another mouthful of blood. "If it hurts, mind your own business, or I'll make sure you never reincarnate." A man's voice came from the magic array. She must be Mei Ziqing's lover. Ning Shu smiled and stood up, wiping the corners of his mouth. "So I have to care? What, do you want to save the world?" "Ha, are you really the goddess of mercy with the halo of the Holy Mother?" The voice in the magic array was full of sarcasm. Ning Shu shook his hand. "Thanks for the compliment. I'm just that pure and beautiful." Mei Ziqing shouted, "Yu Qing, give up. Don't do this again. I beg you, I beg you. I can't turn back. I can only go on like this. Do you think the people above will let me go? Only by getting the plane can I live." Yu Qing's voice passed through the magic array, and it was surprisingly clear. Mei Ziqing cried in a daze. "It's all my fault. I should have stopped you. I shouldn't have let you keep making mistakes." "Wrong? What did I do wrong?" "I didn't do anything wrong. Mission enforcers, eternal life. It's just that the people above enslaved us. You don't dare to resist. You use their rules as the standard to judge right and wrong. You still use these rules to ask me. Mei Ziqing, you're hopeless." The voice in the magic array was furious. "I want to jump out of these rules, and you say I'm wrong. What did I do wrong?" Mei Ziqing opened his mouth and tears fell. "You'll be killed like this, Yu Qing. As long as I successfully merge with the heavenly Tao of this world, no one can do anything to me," Yu Qing said coldly. "You won't let me fail, right? Take this woman and get lost." This woman was talking about Ning Shu. Ning Shu sat on the ground and rested for a while, listening to Yu Qing and Mei Ziqing's conversation. In summary, Mei Ziqing felt that Yu Qing would be killed like this. Moreover, the people above would not let him go for killing so many lives. Yu Qing, on the other hand, was eager to escape from being enslaved. He hated Mei Ziqing for using the rules of the mission enforcers to ask him. In short, both felt that something was wrong. Mei Ziqing screamed at Yu Qing, "Yu Qing, can you give up now? I beg you. If you give up, I'll think of a way to save you so that you won't be killed. I beg you, please think about me." Yu Qing did not speak. The magic array in the air was operating, and its range seemed to have expanded. "Ning Shu. What do we do now?" Ning Shu asked Mei Ziqing. He was in a dilemma. Ning Shu, who was watching from the side, felt very tired. Clearly, there was a difference in their thoughts and views. The two of them were in love, but there was a difference in their morals and thoughts. This relationship might be doomed. Why hadn't the people above arrived yet? Ning Shu felt that he was in a dilemma. Should he make a move? The magic array was slowly expanding. Ning Shu looked at Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing said to Ning Shu, please help me stop him. What if you blame me in the future?" Ning Shu shrugged. "I'm complaining in front of you. My husband blathered on and on. You said that he was such a scumbag. Why don't we just get a divorce?" But she said that her husband was not such a scumbag. "We're fine. We won't get a divorce. What can you do?" Mei Ziqing's face was pale and he looked weak. He said slowly but firmly to Ning Shu, "I can still distinguish between right and wrong in this matter. The one who doesn't understand is Yu Qing. His current strength is not enough to jump out of the rules." Mei Ziqing looked up at the magic array in the sky. "Only the strong have the right to speak, to set the rules. Why doesn't Yu Qing understand?" Mei Ziqing's expression was pained. Ning Shu stretched his neck. "Let me try. When will the people above arrive?" Mei Ziqing's face was pale. "If the people above really arrive, it will be Yu Qing's death. Then what do you think we should do?" Ning Shu asked. "If we don't cause any more damage, we should break the magic array. When the people above arrive, perhaps Yu Qing won't die. Ning Shu, There was no life within a few dozen miles. The people above were not blind. Chapter 1644. Ning Shu saw the hope in Mei Ziqing's eyes and couldn't bear to say anything. He clenched his fist and used the power of the stars to attack the array. However, the array was very sturdy. Ning Shu was shocked by the power of the array. Ning Shu used even more power of the stars. His fist carried the power of a meteorite as it smashed into the array. Every time they collided, the array lit up. The power of the array was about to pull Ning Shu's soul out of his body. Fortunately, with the power of the soul-anchoring pill, it wasn't much of a hindrance. Ning Shu shouted out and slammed his fist into the array formation, causing a slight "kacha" sound to emerge from the laws. Yu Qing quickly repaired the crack. The array released an attack towards Ning Shu. It was very fast and arrived in front of Ning Shu in an instant. "Get out of the way!" Mei Ziqing's voice cracked as he shouted at Ning Shu. Lar was scared silly. Ning Shu gritted his teeth and stretched out his fist. His fist surged with power and smashed towards the attack like a meteor. The two collided and exploded like a nuclear bomb. Ning Shu was blown far away by the shockwave. His body dragged on the ground for a long time. The clothes on his back were torn. His back was stained with blood. Broken twigs and stones pierced his skin. Ning Shu spat out a mouthful of blood. Lar turned into a crossbow and flew into Ning Shu's hand. "Use me." Ning Shu held Lar. Lar's power was of no help to this battle. However, he couldn't say this out loud. Ning Shu stood up slowly. He felt like his body was about to fall apart. Mei Ziqing looked worriedly at Ning Shu. He was originally tied up like a caterpillar and was slowly moving towards Ning Shu. He asked, "Are you okay?" "Damn it, it hurts." Ning Shu turned to look at his back. Dagger Mu reached out and pulled out the branch on Ning Shu's back. It was very rough. "He serves you right." Ning Shu kicked Dagger Mu away. What a heartless thing. If it wasn't for her steadying soul pill, such a soul filled with resentment would have already been taken in by the great heaven-changing array. "Doesn't your conscience hurt?" Ning Shu held the crossbow and looked at the array formation in the sky. He felt powerless. Furthermore, this array formation was constantly changing. Ning Shu and Mei Ziqing's eyes met. Mei Ziqing's eyes were filled with struggle. If Yu Qing succeeded, even more living beings would be robbed of their life force and souls, not even having the chance to reincarnate. But even if Yu Qing succeeded, it would have caused such a huge impact. Who knew what the outcome would be? If he failed, Yu Qing would face the fate of being completely obliterated. Mei Ziqing's heart was probably being repeatedly kneaded and tortured. All the struggles and pain were because he wasn't strong enough. If he couldn't jump out of the rules, he could only be judged by the rules. Ning Shu mobilized the power of the stars in his body and covered Lar's body. Then he shot an arrow at the array formation. Lar's arrow was imbued with immense power. It shot towards the great heaven-changing array and finally passed through it. But Lar's arrow was injured. Half of the arrowhead was cracked. But it also damaged the array. Black smoke drifted out of the array formation. Clearly, it was the evil energy absorbed by the array formation. There was a loophole in the array formation. Ning Shu placed the crossbow on the ground. Lar turned into his human form. He was covered in injuries. Dagger Mu hurried over to help Lar up. He said darkly, "How could she treat you like this?" Lar laughed. "I can help her. I'm still useful." "Mei Ziqing, why are you doing this to me? I'm about to succeed. Why are you stopping me? I'm about to escape this fate. Why? I'll never forgive you. I hate you." Yu Qing's clear voice became somewhat ferocious. "I didn't want to be in the swamp. You just had to pull my leg and force me to stay in the swamp with you. I hate you. I hate you." Yu Qing's accusations were like knives stabbing into Mei Ziqing's heart. Blood dripped, and the pain was unbearable. Mei Ziqing's face twisted. "I know you're tired of the mission enforcers. You're tired of the feeling of uncertainty. But a fish dies when out of water. You haven't transformed into a dragon yet. You'll die when out of water. Yu Qing, you've absorbed the evilest things in the world to break through the heavenly Tao. These things will affect your mind. You'll become something that you don't even recognize. You'll become something controlled by evil energy. Yu Qing, I beg you, don't degrade yourself. I've never thought of dragging you into the swamp. If one day you really break free from your shackles and surpass the rules, I'll only give you my blessings. I want to succeed now, but you're stopping me. This is the blessings you speak of. If I fail this time, Mei Ziqing, I'll hate you for the rest of my life. We'll never meet again. Ugh. The rope around Mei Ziqing's body tightened. His face flushed a sickly red. His body was tightly bound by the rope. The tighter it became, the more uncomfortable Mei Ziqing felt. Blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. His internal organs were clearly injured from the pressure. You can't go on like this, Mei Ziqing said with difficulty. The blood in his mouth dyed his teeth red. Why not? It's just because some people have been sacrificed. That's not right. Those who achieve great things don't care about trifles. All success is built on bones. I'm willing to sacrifice my future. I'm willing to give up everything in exchange for great power. I'm willing. What right do you have to say that I'm wrong? Mei Ziqing, you're really a detestable and pedantic woman. Mei Ziqing closed his eyes and vomited blood. His face was pale. Mei Ziqing opened his eyes. Ning Shu said, I'm begging you. Ning Shu held his forehead and clenched his fists. He mobilized all the qi in his body. A huge dragon formed from the power of the stars appeared behind him. Ning Shu flew up and smashed into the array in the sky. The huge dragon behind Ning Shu crashed into the great sky-changing array. A series of cracking noises could be heard from the array, and a dark and evil aura drifted out from the cracks. Ning Shu punched the array again and again. More and more fine lines appeared on the array. Stop. Yu Qing shouted in exasperation. Ning Shu ignored Yu Qing and raised his fist. The giant dragon raised its head and roared soundlessly before slamming into the spell formation. The cracks on the array spread rapidly. Finally, with a bang, the array shattered into countless pieces. The sun shone down, shining brightly. Ning Shu was blown far away by the explosion. Lar hugged Ning Shu from behind, using Ning Shu as a cushion. He slammed into the ground and slid for some distance. Ning Shu hurriedly asked, Are you okay? He actually used such a huge impact to cushion her. Chapter 1645. Ning Shu didn't know what to say about Lar's actions. He saw that Lar's back was badly mutilated and that he had poured some maintenance fluid on it. Lar smiled. Luckily, I'm a weapon and you're made of flesh and blood. You can't take such damage. Ning Shu couldn't help but say, Don't be so stupid next time. Weapons can die too. Lar didn't say anything. Ning Shu got up. He was weak and his fingers were bleeding. These were the wounds left by the forceful resistance of the array. However, the array was broken. Yu Qing roared. I hate it. Yu Qing's body was shrouded in black smoke. The black smoke slowly dissipated under the sunlight, revealing a sunny boy in casual clothes. He was a handsome man with short hair and sunshine. However, Yu Qing was in spirit form and didn't have a body. Ning Shu couldn't help but ask Mei Ziqing, Are you in a relationship with a younger man? Mei Ziqing, who was vomiting blood, was speechless. In terms of temperament, Mei Ziqing felt more mature than Yu Qing. They were definitely in a relationship. Mei Ziqing spat out a mouthful of blood. The ropes on her body tightened and she couldn't bear it. Mei Ziqing looked at Yu Qing and endured the pain. Yu Qing, wake up. You can't control this power. It will corrupt your mind. You have no right to interfere in my affairs. Yu Qing looked at Ning Shu with bloodshot eyes. I don't mind if you want to save the world. However, you shouldn't have stepped on Mei Ziqing and me. You're only doing this to show that you're a righteous person. Ning Shu spat out a mouthful of blood. He pointed at his nose and asked incredulously, When did I step on you too? I'd be crazy to care about you. He was speechless. Ning Shu rolled her eyes. In the end, she saw a person floating in midair. He was dressed in black and was quietly floating there. He looked down without making a sound. A gentle breeze blew at the corner of his windbreaker. He wore gold-rimmed glasses and looked down at them. He just looked at them coldly. When did he appear? Could it be that he had been quietly watching from the side? Even when they tried their best to break the formation but failed, he just watched and didn't do anything. When they saw Ning Shu looking at the sky, they looked up as well. Mei Ziqing and Yu Qing's expressions changed drastically when they saw the school doctor floating in the air. Mei Ziqing endured the pain in his body and stood in front of Yu Qing. He pleaded with the school doctor, "Yu Qing will change. Please give him a chance. I am willing to accept any punishment." The school doctor floated down, but he didn't step on the ground. Instead, he was floating. Ning Shu took a few steps back to avoid being accidentally injured. Yu Qing gritted his teeth and shouted like a trapped beast, "What did I do wrong? What right do you have to kill me?" Mei Ziqing hurriedly stopped Yu Qing from speaking. "Stop it, stop it." Yu Qing roared, "Why are you so afraid of him? What right does he have to be so arrogant? What right does he have to kill me? I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong. What right do you have to determine that I'm wrong based on your narrow definition of right and wrong? I'm not wrong at all. All I did was kill a few people. There are so many mission enforcers out there. Who dares to say that they haven't killed anyone? Their hands are clean. I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong." Yu Qing repeated his point of view. His expression was ferocious, and layers of black gas surged up from his soul. Yu Qing screamed even louder, but it was more of a desperate struggle. The school doctor looked at him coldly. Mei Ziqing coughed up blood and pleaded with him, "Please don't kill him. I will definitely teach him well. He just went astray. It's just this once. I can accept any punishment. Don't say that I'm wrong. I'm not wrong, I'm not wrong." Yu Qing's expression became even more twisted. He shouted at the school doctor, "What right do you have to say that I'm wrong?" The school doctor pulled out a gun from his waist and pointed it at Yu Qing. "You have to survive this gun before you talk about right and wrong with me." Mei Ziqing was in despair. She stood in front of Yu Qing, her body covered in wounds from the rope. She pleaded with the school doctor, "Please, let him go this once, just this once." The school doctor's face was cold. He ignored Mei Ziqing, who was in front of Yu Qing, and fired. "If you want to block, then block." Ning Shu pulled Mei Ziqing over, preventing her from being hit. Without Mei Ziqing in front of him, the killing force hit Yu Qing's body. "No!" Mei Ziqing screamed at the top of her lungs. The rope on her body had lost its owner's control and loosened. Mei Ziqing ignored the wounds on her body and staggered towards Yu Qing. Yu Qing struggled in pain. Perhaps it was because of the strong evil energy in his body, but Yu Qing didn't get killed in one shot. Mei Ziqing stood in front of Yu Qing and knelt down to beg the school doctor. "Since Yu Qing didn't get killed this time, please let him go. Please, he knows he's wrong." The school doctor's face was cold. He raised his gun and pointed it at the struggling Yu Qing. Black smoke billowed from Yu Qing's body. Dirty water droplets dripped onto the ground, making sizzling sounds. Yu Qing turned from a sunny and pretty boy into a monster. A monster beyond recognition. "You're just relying on enslaved mission enforcers to support you." The mission enforcers worked hard to obtain the power of souls to support disgusting and arrogant parasites like you. Yu Qing's voice was hoarse as he roared. However, he didn't dare to get close to the school doctor for fear of the gun in his hand. "All mission enforcers are enslaved by you. If you're unhappy, you can kill them." The school doctor pushed up his glasses, which reflected white light under the sun. He snorted. "Is there a problem? If I kill you, it'll be like how you kill those defenseless creatures. You said you're not wrong. What right do you have to criticize me? Why are you so upset when it's your turn?" The school doctor sneered. Mei Ziqing sat on the ground and spat out a mouthful of blood. She looked defeated and couldn't say anything to beg for mercy. Bang bang. The school doctor fired 2 consecutive shots at Yu Qing. Yu Qing roared in pain. In the end, his soul exploded. The souls in the black smoke that were struggling in pain burst out. Without Yu Qing's control, the evil energy and the souls of the living beings entangled with each other and struggled in pain. Once they came out, they spread in all directions. Wherever the black smoke passed, the trees turned black. It was even more powerful than the miasma. A black hole appeared behind the school doctor, sucking in the evil energy and the struggling souls. Then the black hole slowly closed. The surroundings returned to silence. It was a mess. The sun shone on people, but they couldn't feel a trace of warmth. Chapter 1646. The matter was resolved. Yu Qing, who wanted to use the power of the array to change the world, was killed. The evil aura and the struggling souls were also taken away. They would not affect this plane too much. Everything was settled neatly and efficiently. No one present dared to speak. The school doctor walked in the air. It was a small step, but it seemed to cover a long distance. His figure disappeared in an instant. Ning Shu looked at the back of the school doctor. 1,000 miles in one step. Was this the law of space? Ning Shu retracted his gaze and looked at Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing sat on the ground lifelessly. His eyes were blank and did not even blink. He was like a puppet. It was as if his soul was not in his body. Ning Shu coughed and pushed Mei Ziqing. Mei Ziqing turned his head stiffly and looked at Ning Shu with empty eyes. Ning Shu could not ask if he was okay. Did Mei Ziqing look okay? Lar and Dagger Mu were dumbfounded as they watched the situation unfold. Their minds were in a mess. Who could tell them what had happened? Who was the person in the black windbreaker? Lar saw Ning Shu's bare back. It was a bloody mess. There were branches and small stones piercing into his skin. He walked over to Ning Shu and said, "Treat the wound." Ning Shu looked at his back and nodded. "Okay." Lar carefully took out the foreign objects embedded in his skin. Mu the dagger stretched out his hand and roughly took out the small sharp stone. Ning Shu cried out in pain. He turned around and kicked Dagger Mu. "Get lost. I don't want you to do it." Dagger Mu, who had been kicked away by Ning Shu, rolled twice on the ground. He held a finger-sized sharp stone in his hand. "Tsk Diska. You deserve it." Dagger Mu held the bloody stone in front of Lar. "Lick it and you'll fall. Then you'll be free. You won't have to follow this cruel woman. Get lost." Ning Shu kicked again. Lar carefully cleaned up the wound, but Ning Shu's entire back had been abraded. Lar took out the medicine and said to Ning Shu, who was lying on the ground, "It's a little painful. Bear with it." "Oh, it's nothing. It hurts." Ning Shu screamed. It was as if he had been smeared with chilly water. Was this medicine? Lar took out some clothes from his body and let Ning Shu change into them. The clothes on his body were already worn out. Ning Shu changed his clothes and saw that Mei Ziqing was still in a daze. He was motionless like a wooden bodhisattva. What should he do now? Helpless. Mei Ziqing sat there from day to night, not moving at all. This made Ning Shu's hair stand on end. Lar took out some biscuits and water from his body. Ning Shu said, "Eat something." Ning Shu nodded. He ate the biscuits and drank the water, looking at the motionless Mei Ziqing. Ning Shu finished eating and brought the biscuits and water to Mei Ziqing. "Eat something." Mei Ziqing didn't seem to hear Ning Shu. Ning Shu didn't mind. It seemed that Mei Ziqing hadn't recovered from the shock of Yue Qing's disappearance. He was now in a self-imposed isolation. As long as a mission enforcer wasn't killed, he would have eternal life. He had gotten used to being alone in his long life. Now, this person had suddenly disappeared. To be honest, Mei Ziqing's state of not eating, drinking, crying, or making a fuss was a little scary. Ning Shu sat beside Mei Ziqing. "Eat something." Mei Ziqing didn't respond. Ning Shu sighed. "Since you're so uncomfortable, why do you have to do this?" He wanted to end his lover, and now he was so uncomfortable. He just didn't care. Mei Ziqing should have expected such a situation from the start. Mei Ziqing's tears fell. He wiped them and said, "He always said that this was an equivalent exchange, an exchange for great power. But in the end, he went crazy. As you can see, there is an endless amount of evil energy in his soul. One day, he will be devoured by these things. Mei Ziqing buried his head in his arms and said in a muffled voice, "I thought I could save his life." Ning Shu, you two must be in a relationship, right? Ning Shu asked. Mei Ziqing was so angry that he cried. Is this important? Ning Shu waved his hand. It's not important. I just feel that Yueqing isn't as mature as you. Yueqing craved power, but he didn't see his current situation clearly. Since ancient times, it had always been the few strong people who managed the many ordinary people. All the shouting was actually very weak. When one was so strong that others couldn't ignore it, there was no need to shout. Ning Shu took a dry biscuit and stuffed it into Mei Ziqing's hand. Eat something. This mission was hard for her. It didn't benefit her at all. Other than developing a new power system for her ultimate martial arts, there were no other benefits. Instead, she had to rush back and forth for Mei Ziqing's matter. In the end, she might be blamed. Mei Ziqing took the biscuit and bit it slowly, wiping her tears. Ning Shu saw that she was willing to eat and went to sit at the side. At this time, he didn't want to get close to Mei Ziqing. What if she took her anger out on him? If she wanted to hate someone, she should hate Yueqing. No one forced Yueqing to use the great sky-changing array to fuse with the heavenly Tao. She came to this world without knowing anything and helped Mei Ziqing. If Mei Ziqing resented her because of this, they could just stop being friends. Especially when she saw the current Mei Ziqing, Ning Shu didn't like him very much. Perhaps this reaction was the aftereffect of removing the tumor in her heart. Mei Ziqing herself said that this matter was the tumor in her heart. Ning Shu lay on Lar's blanket. His back was injured, so he could only do this. Ning Shu secretly took some anti-inflammatory medicine. The wound on his back was too big, so he had to take it. Dagger Mu lay beside Ning Shu, his two legs shaking. Ning Shu asked, "Was the person who disappeared her husband? And who was the man in black?" Dagger Mu asked the question like a normal, naive child. Ning Shu looked at him. "None of your business. Get lost. Kiki, damned woman." Dagger Mu slapped Ning Shu's back, causing Ning Shu to jump up in pain. Dagger Mu was like a frightened rabbit, running far away. He laughed sinisterly. "Damned woman, you deserve it. Kiki." He stuck his tongue out at Ning Shu. Ning Shu looked at Dagger Mu sinisterly. "You better not fall into my hands. I will make sure you die with rhythm." Ning Shu lay down and closed his eyes to rest. Lar walked over to Dagger Mu and said something to him. Dagger Mu's face was sullen, his head lowered like a frosted eggplant. Ning Shu asked 2333 in his mind. Yuqing said that mission enforcers are slaves to the people above. What's that about? Although Yuqing hated her so much, Ning Shu had never realized that she was a slave. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.